It's your boy Ink. Welcome to our show. I guess I'm doing more having a wonderful day on this 8th April 2025. We are about to be playing some The Tower. Yes, we played a lot today. I'm pretty happy about myself. I'm pretty happy with myself. I, of course, mean, you know me in English, right? We are posting some videos in the background, so, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get something. 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 Because we're posting in the background, you're not gonna hear me talk a lot. However, we're watching the Boogie Cancer arc, so nice, nice. Do 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 do. Choo 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 choo. Nice. Oopsies. So now, before we even continue, we got this. Thank you for the coin, dude. Forgot to do the bits. I forgot to do the bits. We forgot to. Oh, yo, let's go. New garden ship. Nice. It's okay. It's okay, Ming. It's okay, Ming. Is there any tip on clearing tier where the relic sweet lap speed is very attractive? How much health and attack needed? Tier wave. Quickly for me. Possibly a mixture of what Falcon said and event for relics. Claim. Okay, good. Stay the fuck away. We're listening. Yes, I have a lot. Well, not a lot to do, but I want to do it before the sun rises. So you know how it goes. You know how it is. I don't wanna know your secret, cause I'll tell. Starting off being alone in myself, but don't know how wrong I'll be going on. I know you meant it on, I know that you mean well.
Took my blood test. We found elevated red blood cell counts.
Good.
We looked for other markers. We found those markers.
Let's get this.
It turned out it was certainly polycythemia, potentially polycythemia vera. And they
We're
were
able to upgrade a bunch. Holy shit.
it was polycythemia vera.
So stay the fuck away.
Get this bone marrow test, but again, I never wanted to get it done because it's.
I don't wanna know your secret, cause I love this song. It's been in my head for a little bit of time now.
To ever get it done. She's
Voice.
cancer herself, and she says it's not worth it. And as time went on, I became aware that it might not be. And now we are at a point where he's concerned about what's causing the markers. So we have a colonoscopy.
Spotlight, ooh.
And we probably, if we don't find anything there,
the target priorities.
Bone marrow thing, unless there's something else that he wants to do. And we're just gonna.
It's super good. I didn't realize how good it was.
Whatever's going wrong.
Because now I can focus on Spotlight.
That's a disease, that's not cancer, right? Yes, I certainly have at least that. That is a symptom. Polycythemia secondary is basically a symptom. And something has to be causing it. The things that can cause it are things like
lap speed. Ooh, I need that.
being extremely dehydrated. What you just said is if you have one that's not cancer, it means you have cancer somewhere else. Well, polycythemia secondary is a symptom, right? Polycythemia vera is a diagnosis. Is a cancer. And so, at the very least, I have the symptom of polycythemia, and something is causing it, and it is possible that it is the cancer. And it is possible that you have that cancer. But it could be something else. Maybe I'm not getting enough sleep. Maybe my CPAP machine is not working. Hasn't been working in the last 2 years. But we've tried to roll all of that out. That's why there's a sleep study that you see in the documentary. Turns out I'm sleeping.
Choo 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 choo.
Gravity of how bad this is. Yes, absolutely. In fact, right now, and I have
Choo 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 choo. Choo 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 choo. Whoa 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 whoa.
pulling that trigger right now. Here's another thing I made Boogie do, is I made him mail me the play button. All right, so his 1 million sub play button is being sent to my house, and I don't know exactly what the initial
The change skin.
we auction it off. Whatever money we get for it goes to some type of cancer research. Because, like, well, I would like to ask that it's St. Jude's, and the reason I'd like to ask that it's St. Jude's is because they do two things that are very important. And I've raised money for St. Jude's many times before. What they do there is they treat children with cancer for entirely free. So if you have cancer, and you go to St. Jude's, they will most likely treat your child's cancer for free. They'll also board the family so that they can be near the child that's out of Memphis, Tennessee. It's also a research effort. So what they do is try and beat cancer. They are the people looking for the cure for all different types of cancer. So when you give money to St. Jude's, you're doing two things. Number one, you're saving a child's life. And number two, you are helping beat cancer.
What I love about this is fake cancer and talking about all of this noble stuff.
How do you justify the 1K? Because that's what I have left. I don't know where else I should give. I can't give away. But you told Coffee that you had no left. I know. And now there's $1,000 paid by you. And no, I showed him receipts for $3,000. There was $2,000 left. But now I spent more of that. Okay. So now that we're on this honesty tour, and I'm gonna drop this on the lol cow Twitter right now. Just
What's what I have a beautiful
in
sentence I saw.
DMs. Yeah,
Said it.
in, group chat. Yeah, no either. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out where to get it back. If there's things I can sell, I'd like to maybe consider. I considered live streaming. You know, for the next month, every live stream I do and try to do 3 a week, and just raise money for St. Jude's. But I don't think people would trust me enough to give it, and I don't blame them. No, so you shouldn't be asking the public for money for anything, even for charity. That's why I told you to mail me the play button. Exactly. Do you understand how conflicted I am? Did you were obviously watching the stream. I'm pretty fucking conflicted. Because that's why I was able to figure it out right away. Because I know you. I know you. You get into the fucking mental illness panic mode, and you do and say anything you possibly fucking can. I mean, you're not wrong. But I don't understand that recording the video, editing the video, and uploading the video. There's a lot of steps in between your panic and your mental illness. So I'll tell you, it's about 2 hours between, like, I finished that doctor's appointment, and it was on the phone, and I sat and thought about it for a little while, and I researched the disease, and I thought, this is something I could talk about. And if I'm being genuine, sure, part of it was talking about the disease and talking about my life as I always have, but part of it is the thing that I've done even on the show. I've tried to stop doing it, but it's sympathy farming. It's something you called me out on 1,000,000 fucking times, and I felt really shitty about myself. I had no one to talk to about, and I decided to go to the internet with him instead. A lot of people are calling out your brother. Can you explain what happened with your brother? Because he was defending you, saying you had it. Because he's seen the paperwork and he knows they're treating it, and he knows that like he said, the codes are in there because they said the reason they are treating this to the insurance company is because I possibly have polycythemia vera. So it's in there. What about, okay, so you're telling your brother you have cancer, you're telling the internet you have cancer, you're telling your girlfriend you have cancer, you're telling everyone that you have cancer, but it may not be. How do you justify that? Because, I mean, there is no justification. I can tell you what I was thinking at the time. There is no justification. It's like, I swear to God, guys, I gotta tell, I've tweeted this, all right? Because this is a real thing that happened yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. I'm on the phone with Boogie.
54-11.
We're talking about future tests. And at one point, Boogie says, and I swear to God this happened, he goes, I can't believe I'm praying I might have cancer.
Yeah.
Why do you want to be a fucking victim so bad? Like, that is so fucking insane. That fucking, like, that came out of your mouth.
Because when we get these tests done, I deserve to have it up my ass. I deserve to have it in my fucking brain. I deserve to have fucking cancer the way my dad did, the way Danny did, the way my friend, everybody. Everybody that's ever died of cancer, lost a loved one of cancer, I fucking deserve cancer. And, yeah. I fucked up here. I should not have jumped the gun. And, in my mind, treating me for this cancer, knowing that it's possibly, if not most likely there, is the same as it testing positive. You know, and that's what I have an appointment with my doctor on August 16th. We're going to talk about it then. But I presume, because they've said so many times, like, you know, you most likely have this cancer. You most likely have this cancer. So I do want to add that when I launched that video, I turned monetization off, and it's always been off. Like Mudo Hart pointed out, I did earn $120, but you can't turn off people who use YouTube Premium. So I still got $120. But that's atypical of a video that gets 100,000 views, right? 100,000 views normally would get you $1,000 for a lot of people. And obviously I didn't get that. That's not a bad idea. I definitely am going to film about this in the more like Shorty said. Because I think that's a good video.
And it also lets you test the water to see if your fan base will accept you back.
Yeah. I mean, even if they won't, here's the thing. This wasn't about winning the audience back. This wasn't about winning anybody. No, I mean, honestly, because you told me to think about it, right?
Yeah.
You told me before I made this decision, I need to really think about it. Oh, this is going to allow me to forgive myself. Yeah, if anybody else decides to forgive me, that's great too, and I hope some of you do, but, you know, it's about just, like, feeling better about myself, because I felt like about this, man. I feel so bad.
All right, well, I think we are going to remove the social media ban. You can now use your Twitter. You can use your YouTube channel. All right.
Hey, Michael, what do you think about this, by the way?
I can't believe you did it. I really hate So Bridget said you shouldn't do it, and I was typing in the chat that you should make it like twice as big.
Vous avez besoin d'aide. Pourquoi lui? Pourquoi il doit mourir?
Violette, est-ce que tout va bien?
Quelqu'un m'envoie des images.
Qui ça peut être? Roulé.
Quand il est temps d'acheter une voiture, Auto Hebdo a toutes les réponses.
No way. You do?
Discover the difference at Hudson Headwaters. From nursing to administrative roles, there's a position for you. See why Albany Business Review named us Best Place to Work. Apply today at hhhn.org/careers.
My apologies.
I want to film it. You know?
Yeah.
My apologies.
I made this subject. Sometimes when people get tattoos, Boogie, that where they get the tattoos, the hair no longer grows.
Yeah,
So there's a chance that your beard grows in and it has the outline of Liar in it.
And then I have to stay clean shaven, and I look like Chris from Mr. Beast team. It's bad. I'm serious. But serious, like you see this guy approaching you, and you're gonna hide your children. I look at his face.
You used to rock that all the time when you were like 600 pounds. I was like, why does he do that?
I was 600 pounds.
No, he didn't.
It looked bad, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Like you look so much better with a full beard.
I couldn't grow a full beard back then, but now I can, thank God.
I can tell you this: when Boogie got exposed for faking cancer, he was sitting home alone, depressed, and then he said, "Thank God there was an assassination attempt." And then he was sitting home and he was depressed. He's like, "Thank God Mr. Beast is under fire. Thank God Chris Tyson is being exposed." You know, there's a lot that happened on the internet during all this. There's an insane amount of drama that's went down.
And the craziest part about it is people still tuned into this. They nearly killed the president, and people still tuned into this the next day.
Boogie, I'm going to make this official. I am gonna rip up the contract about your shares.
Handshake deal.
Handshake deal. And you are officially back on Local Live.
I do want to say, by the way, I showed Keemstar the receipts. That shit hit my bank. I know, like Muda and the other guy, who I forget who it was.
15.
But like, don't, you might charge it back. Don't
14.
charge it back. Man, I'm never going to charge
13.
it back. That's insane. So I showed
12,
Keemstar and
11,
Muda
10,
the receipts that it hit my bank.
9, 8, 10, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
the
1.
most important thing that you did with all this, right?
Yeah.
Is you did what you're supposed to do. You entertained a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, and that's something I really thought about last night. Keemstar hated this when I told him earlier, but I had therapy yesterday, and this is what we talked about, the tattoo and the situation and everything else, and it allowed me to feel better about this. I realized Keem was right about one thing. This is entertaining, man. This is funny. This is funny. This not how I expected to spend my 50th birthday. It's my birthday. I turned 50 today. Today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Boogie's 50th birthday! Show us your face for your birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
Imagine being a fat 50-year-old liar.
Yeah. I mean, it ain't fun. It ain't fun. It's entertaining, though. It's worth watching. You know, because when we put the show together, I thought, you know, I had never expected my life to get entirely blown up, and I didn't expect the entire internet. Who would have expected Destiny to come in here and drop a grenade in my life? But it happened, you know.
Well,
I'm glad it did.
I have one more happy announcement for you, Buggy. And I actually have a birthday present for you.
Aw.
What? Oh.
This play button, which you desperately want back, I'm going to get it back to you.
Thank you.
Under the condition that you weigh 250 pounds or less. As soon as you weigh 250 pounds or less, I will mail this back.
Dude, I have so much loose skin, I'll never
Toast.
be under 250 pounds. You're out of your mind.
How much do you weigh
Yeah.
now?
I see a lot of people.
400, I just did 400 a day.
You can do it. You can do it.
No, I have so much loose skin, I would have to get skin removal surgery.
I would say 300 pounds is more fair, because 300
pounds
would be
painful.
250.
300 pounds is obtainable.
Because you got like 50 pounds of loose skin.
I mean, look at this. Hold on. Let me
No, don't show it. Don't show it.
No.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at that alone. How many pounds is that chicken weighing?
Okay. How about this? All right.
2.
Under 300 pounds, you have to hit 299.
Are we talking about 299.9? Is that under 300?
Whatever, fine. What are we talking?
Because like.
My apologies. Are you still uploading you? No.
Over the course of 2019, Philip Burnell has made many mistakes and has many different occasions that could be notable. And right now we're going to start our list at number 10. And that is Etika's passing and how Darkseid Phil, the King of Suffering, handled it.
King of Suffering, huh? Huh?
My man's Etika is dead. My nigga is dead. I have to sit here and read fucking rest in peace Etika tweets, just like the rest of y'all, knowing that my fucking friend is gone and this shit is real.
$55. Let's see here. SJ says, I watched Etika for a long time. I'm really sad about what happened. Did you ever come close to being mentally unstable from all the trolling and hate that you get? I hope you're doing well, and please talk to someone if things get too hectic. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's times when it really does get to me when things go really bad because of it. Or when I just want to express something genuinely, you know, that's something positive, and these idiots have to literally turn it into something negative and just say, oh, see, nothing. Phil could never ever genuinely do anything good, or never ever genuinely have a positive feeling about anything, because in the past, here's 5 things he did wrong.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
So all the time, I did it on my tweet. I made a tweet about Etika, just basically saying what I just said. Okay. And oh, look, in the past, Phil has referenced mental illness. In the past, Phil has done this horrible thing and that horrible thing. How dare you make a tweet about something like this? Fuck off. It's like endless loop of stress. And listen, by no means am I saying that my life is any harder or easier than yours or whatever. Listen, I'm just saying from my own perspective, I'm just venting a little bit here because I know many people wonder, gee, what kind of stuff happened that Phil, wasn't here earlier today. All he does is sit here and play video games all day. You're right. I mean, that is my job. It's just not a very healthy job. I'll be honest. It was a lot healthier when I had someone to share this with and to make me healthy meals and everything. And all that's gone now, and now it's a lot tougher. Of course, now we gotta get someone in the stream chat who wants to turn their own personal story into, derailing the chat. I'm not gonna put up with it, so I'm just gonna warn you right now. War Dog Leader, there's no way for us to know if what you're saying in the stream chat is legitimate or not. You could be someone completely making stuff up, or you could be completely legitimate. Appreciate the sentiment, and sorry to hear about a family member that passed away, but no one wants to hear you make this about how I'm in the wrong for being stressed with my life because you have a situation that's worse. That's ridiculous. Go run your own stream if you want to do that. We don't, you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to make me look like a villain because he says someone passed away and he's doing better than me. Wow. Well, good for you. Maybe you're a stronger human than me, or maybe you're a better person than me. Good for you. Go run your own stream and everyone can go watch it. This is my stream. People want to know why I wasn't here, and I'm being on. Fuck off. Seriously, that's what I mean. These people, they just want to bring you down. Here's a tweet about a guy who apparently was so mentally disturbed by people fucking with him that he committed suicide. So let's now attack the guy making the tweet. Well, the tweet's about someone who committed suicide because they were attacked, so let's attack the guy making the tweet.
The problem with the situation was that DSP ended up turning a terrible situation about a young man killing himself into his own victimization from trolls who were mad at him for talking about his depression once again. And the following day, during his morning stream, he had this to say.
I'm human. And things get to me. Alright, they do. And the bottom line is that, yesterday we had a really, really awful situation with the passing of, YouTube creator, Etika. And I didn't know that, I just don't know much about all the fact that, he's doing Nintendo stuff like that. And the thing is, I could easily just never mention it at all. I could have just said, I'm not mentioning it all on my streams, ignore it. And here's what would happen. This was a big news thing. Obviously, Prince needs me to have been a content creator gaming for 11 years. People are going to undoubtedly ask me about it, will undoubtedly constantly bring it up on my streams. Alright? And for me not to address it would be stupid. Because all that's going to happen by not addressing it, it makes it more hot topic. You know what I mean? If you address it yesterday, you go watch the video if you want to hear. Okay? Versus, look at it, it's all about it. It's weird when you bring it up and see if he talks about it, right? See? That's different. I know this is being business. I've done this for 11 years. I stream full time for 2.5. I stream for a long time before that. When it came, I know how it works on stream. I know what people want. If they want to talk about, they'll get to talk about. We'll stream about it. If need be. If the hot takes are hot, alright? So, the bottom line is, if I do bring it up at all, alright, it would have ended up becoming a thing on the stream would have completely devoured the entire stream. Everyone would have talked about it constantly. So it makes sense for me to address it. Alright, it did. And now you guys, I really feel like I did it in a mature fashion, basically saying, I don't know much about this guy at all. It just seems like he lost it out there for years. It's an awful thing. And, that's kind of how I addressed it. Now, later on in the day, I don't know and find out more about the fact that basically, like, there's been a lot of these for years, that I don't allude to in videos and things like joking about people and memes that are mean about it, and that can be very hurtful, even though on the surface they don't seem like that they do in the background. A lot of these kind of keep the light on social media overnight, or not overnight, 31st of the day, I should say. Alright? And so during the day, I need a social media post about it, basically saying, I didn't know God, but, memes can be very hurtful, use it in a bad way, people be responsible for things they say and do. The problem with the internet today is that you're not necessarily doing anything, and it's all jokes. In reality, it's not all jokes. It hurts you, it's not going to hurt other people with the things you say and do, especially the things that aren't true, but you're watch try to make YouTube for joking purposes, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, they're called jokes, right? But sadly, as you guys know, there's just people on the internet who are just complete and utter fucking shitheads who want to talk shit about me no matter what. So they took this opportunity to make it all about me, which is hilarious because one of their criticisms of me is that I made it all about me. In reality, they made it all about me. Okay? First of all, they tried to say that I was monetizing Oedipus passing. That the only reason that I even brought this up is because I wanted to make extra money on my pre-stream video yesterday. Okay? Look at how ludicrous this fucking statement is. Okay? Eternity later. I'm trying to make big bucks on this. Obviously, this is my intent. Was the only reason I talked about it was to make money, right? This is just insanity that this would even be something someone would consider as a consideration of something, you know, that happened. Are you that fucking dumb? The statement that, you know, oh, Phil purposely talked about this something on pre-shoot so you can monetize Oedipus debt and make money on it is insanely illogical and ludicrous. In addition to all of that, which is, here's the kicker, I never monetized the video.
Ici, tout est possible. Il suffit juste de le
Si je pouvais changer ma vie, bah je ne changerais rien.
vrai.
Okay.
Mais venez!
On vient, on rit, on pleure, on meurt.
J'ai encore la place.
Ayons des enfants.
Votre conjoint souhaite avoir un petit peu plus d'espace dans la relation.
Vous prenez vos précautions?
So that was a fucking lie.
So on top of all the ludicrous shit that people are saying, I never even monetized it. The video was literally never monetized on YouTube because I knew this was going to be a subject.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
You know, that was going to be a very hot topic and that it needed to be touched with very delicate handling, you know. And I never monetized the video anyway. The video would never, I never placed ads on it.
Hi, I'm Mark Fuller of Uncommon Knowledge, and this is downloads.com. And welcome to How to Stop Compulsive Lying.
And you could, I actually, in reality, I never even refreshed my YouTube dashboard overnight. So my YouTube dashboard from when I uploaded the video, I kept that, and this morning I screen captured it, and I posted it on Twitter. I was like, how can you say I monetized someone's debt when I never monetized the video to begin with? But apparently, they, you know, these people were, you know, again, my detractors, my haters, these fucked up people, whatever you want to say, are trying to say that there were ads all over the video. See, look at all these ads all over the video. I'm like, dude, I never monetized the video.
Why the fuck you lying?
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Why you always lying?
But the fact of the matter is, people are slandering me, saying, oh, look at this, Phil's making money on this thing. In reality, I never did that. That's completely false. And that pisses me off that now people will believe that because they're so gullible and so fucking brain dead stupid. They just believe what they're told without any substantiation. Alright? It's just completely dumb. Alright? That's number one. Number two, the other thing, oh, Phil just made it about himself. Are you?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but DSP seemed to have actually made it all about himself once again, and he monetized that situation, and it was in poor taste. But to continue our list, here is number 9. The Cobra Strikes Back. DSP takes shots at Pro Jared. 3 years ago, Pro Jared made this tweet and took a shot at Phil. And then Pro Jared's world fell apart. He went ahead and publicly announced that he was divorcing his wife. And, well, Phil Brunel struck like a cobra.
right, so obviously in reality that's not what we're talking about, and obviously it's, the truth of the matter is, the stuff that's been going on in the last 24 hours is not fun, it's not exciting, it's, you know, and it shouldn't be. Human drama never should be fun and exciting. And quite frankly, typically I usually will remove myself from any kind of human drama regarding other streamers and content creators. However, I think we need to, at least today on pre-stream, briefly address what's been going on with content creators in the last year, I'd say, where a lot of people who everyone thought were wholesome, were, you know, upstanding citizens, as you say, upstanding people, and who have giant fan bases are now being kind of revealed to have some pretty nasty, malicious, underhanded stuff going on behind the scenes, and they're being exposed for it. Yeah, I'm an adult. Sorry, I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel. Me. I'm the one who puts out the content. And, you know, as someone who has been around the internet for 11 years doing content creation, and someone who's done it for a living since 2011, and basically for the last 7 years has been the butt of pretty much the running internet joke meme as the worst content creator and a guy who's a joke. And, you know, it's fun to make fun of Phil, har. And sadly, you know, someone who has been very negatively affected by it. For me, at least, to see all this stuff happen the way it's been unfolding. Get on with it. Before you move on to other stuff, because I know a lot of people today may just be checking out a stream or two of mine because of the drama that's been going on the internet, and me voicing it on Twitter and getting over 10,000 likes on a tweet within, you know, a short period of time. Before we get on to the daily drama of everything, okay? Now let's very briefly talk about the daily drama. Let's get it out of there, because I know some people are like, man, I come to Phil's streams just to hang out and chill and have gameplay and interaction during the gameplay. I don't want Phil to do a 4-hour pre-stream today where he talks and, you know, doesn't ever get to the game.
You're a fucking idiot. This needs to stop.
But what we're finding now in this modern day and age is that you can't get away with anything. Okay, you can't. When you are a content creator on the internet, your life is public. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide or keep behind the scenes. If you do something wrong, you're gonna get caught and you're gonna get called out for it. It's just going to happen. Okay? And I've been destroyed for it in a lot of ways. You remember 3 years ago, guys, a little over 3 years ago at this point, I had an unfortunate incident on stream. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello. Where the webcam was left on inadvertently, and even though, thank goodness, I don't have any kind of a setup where you can see much but my face, and the mic was muted, it was insanely embarrassing. And this became a huge internet meme across the entire internet. I became the laughing stock of the internet, as if I wasn't bad enough that I wasn't, you know, a laughing stock. I definitely became a laughing stock at that point. Alright? And it's a shame that you've got people now who are failing because of cheating on their significant others, or scamming people behind the scenes. So I made this one post. And, you know, it got some traction. The thing is, my Twitter almost never gets any traction. Reason being is because there's people who hate me so much, and I told you guys, people who stalk me and hate me so much, they will literally find people who like my tweets and stalk them. They're like, if you like anything Phil puts out there, we're going to come after you, we're going to harass you on social media and shit. So even though I have some like 23,000, well, I had 23,000, I think at this point I might have like 25,000, because I got so many new Twitter followers in the last like 12 hours. But, you know, I had like 23,000 Twitter followers, but in reality, when I tweet, 400,000 people see my tweets. That's not an exaggeration. I actually used a couple analyzation programs and things to figure out how popular actually is my Twitter account. Even though it says only 23,000
Oh shit, 6 gig
I get
and
like over 400,000 impressions on every fucking tweet I put out. Even though no one likes or retweets them, I like tons of people see my tweets. Okay? So, I put out this tweet and it didn't really get a lot of traction. I think it maybe got between like 100 to 200 likes or something like that on Twitter. Alright? So later in the day, I come home and finally, I don't stay out of my life. I come home and now it's time to relax on Twitter again. And people contact me. And they're like, man, you know, you really see the whole situation or whatever. And one person in particular, you realize that this person whose life has fallen apart in the last 24 hours for infidelity, cheating, going on behind the scenes. You do realize the reason
بدي حماتك.
No fucking reason to get a laugh. This person shows me this tweet, and I'm like, man, so behind the scenes, this guy was a complete scumbag, right? And all these horrible things that are coming out to this guy that actually done. This guy had the fucking audacity, he was so fucking full of himself. Being at the top of the world, having 1 million YouTube subs, making tons of money hand over fist on his fucking YouTube channels. And this motherfucker went out of his way to piss on me. I said, guess what? I think it's finally time that PSP.
Welcome.
Directly quoted his tweet. I said, took a day off from the entire internet. Broke Jared hilarity was at the top of everyone's Twitter feed. Oh, whoops. And as of now, that tweet now has over 4,000 likes, over 1,000 retweets. So after I did that, people were contacting me and saying, oh my god, like, did you actually wait 3 years to strike back at this guy? And in reality, no. In reality, I forgot completely about it. Like I said, this is a commonplace thing for me. But someone had tweeted, this guy actually insulted you directly 3 years ago. I was like, no, well, you know what? Fuck it. Alright, so I did that. Okay. And I put out that tweet and people really seemed to like it. They're like, wow, this is funny. You know, it's funny that you're even getting on this, right? Now's the time. So I decided to make a new post. The post goes as follows. Pro tip for content creators. If you've done something worse than this, whether it's public or not yet, quit. And you were saying, what? Well, worse than what? I took a picture of my incident from 3 years ago, my embarrassing moment. I put it on the tweet. I said, because I'm still here, you won't be. And good luck living with that. So I put that post up, and as of now, it's got 11,100 likes, over 3,000 retweets. Pretty major content creators like Boogie, as well as many others. It's not just him, but many other content creators saw this and not only liked it but retweeted it. Boogie actually said it's officially his favorite tweet ever. I really don't expect any kind of long-standing positive effect to come from this, as much as that would be amazing, and it could help me to kind of turn things around behind the scenes financially, because I am in a really bad rut right now because of so much shit that's happened to me over the years, and it would really help me to get more attention on my streams and more contributions. Like I said, I don't expect anything. I really don't expect anything long term. This is just kind of a one-time thing where this is a situation I had a chance to strike back on someone who was nasty to me 3 years ago, and it was the perfect timing, the perfect stab back. And you know, it is what it is, okay?
Once he failed trying to gather new fans into his cult, PSP went about a debunking stream where he was going to debunk 7 years of slander for us. And oh boy, was it ever so much fun. And it was also our number 8 entry onto this list.
Yeah. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Phil Burnell, aka Darkside Phil here. And I'm doing something very special tonight.
Darkside Phil.
Completely unplanned, something that's off the cuff, on the fly. The reason I'm doing this is because in the past couple of days, the internet at large has finally kind of turned an eye to me for the first time in a major way in a long time, in an actual positive light. Had 2 pretty epic looking tweets that, yes, one of them was directly to him and one wasn't, it was more indirect, but 2 epic tweets that kind of went crazy on Twitter, one of which has like 6,000 likes, one has like over 17,000 likes, and major content creators, including guys like Hee Productions and PewDiePie, amongst others, have been like referencing me. Boogie said it was his favorite tweet ever. And if they don't see that, you know, I basically take this opportunity to do something positive and kind of almost clear my name for the last 7 years of slander that's been against me on YouTube in particular, but of course now it's all over the internet. I almost feel that sadly, there's not going to be another opportunity to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to be doing is going down a list. I actually have a list, and I got a $1 tip from Jack, who says, what's your advice for trolls? Don't let the trolls get you down. The advice for the trolls, I mean, move on at this point. Dawn of when I really had my height of popularity on YouTube, alright? I was an asshole. I don't want my entire existence on the internet to be defending myself against people who are just saying ridiculous stuff. So I usually just hold back and never say anything, but tonight is the exception where I'm striking back, ladies and gentlemen, alright? The one thing that I want to say is off limits here tonight, this is very true, is things that are private information about other people that I can't reveal. the first thing we're going to start with, Styles K did 100 bits here, by the way. Thank you very much, Styles K. The first thing I want to start with, alright, is looking at a long time ago. Back before I ever live streamed, back before I ever did any direct capture, way back when, alright, I used to make racial jokes. And, you know, what people will do over the years, they'll take clips out of context. They will defend Nintendo. Nintendo tomorrow, Iwata could come out and say, please understand, fuck you, we don't like customer. Suck our big Japanese cocks. Alright. And they will put a clip out there, completely out of context of a playthrough, and make one little, this is one joke Phil made in 2010. Look at what a horrible racist he is, right? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest, and I will admit this to this, now I will publicly say this, one of the biggest mistakes that I actually feel that I made in my early career as a content creator is that I was making Nazi jokes, alright? They're not fun. I know. But what ended up happening was I put out that video, that Dead Space 2 demo video with that kind of jokes and commentary in it, and what happened was my trolls, which I've always had trolls, even back then when I was quite popular I had trolls. My trolls staged a campaign, which they later admitted publicly was a fake campaign. This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You've let the Jews overrun space, and now look at this. Their greed has had the artifact to turn everyone into...
See why we're watching this guy? See why we're watching the detective video?
Pretending to be hundreds of
That's exactly why.
Saying, how dare you have someone on your site who's making these kind of comedy, kind of commentary and stuff like that. Okay, and it sucks because, you know, they got me, you know. With TV management saw these hundreds of complaints, like I've never seen anything like this before. They watch the video, they're like, okay, get rid of them, and they kick me off the site.
No, you think?
Ladies
No
and
way.
Gentlemen, in 2012, I made public my relationship with a woman at the time, who was my girlfriend. Okay? And she very much was a part of my content over a 5-year span that I was involved with this woman. She went by Pandalee on the internet, that was her nickname or whatever. And there's always been lies and slander and complete horrific nonsense regarding my relationship with Pandalee, which is horseshit. And the thing is, it's in my past. I mean, we haven't been together in over 2 years. I now have married to a beautiful, lovely woman named Kat, and my life is great. But the thing is, people to this day still fucking bring up this bullshit. So tonight, for the first time ever, I'm debunking this bullshit, alright? The first thing that everyone fucking says to me is that, Phil, you first met Pandalee when she was underage. She was under the age of 18. When you first started talking to her, you were grooming her so that you would finally go out with her and all this shit. And all of that is complete and utter fucking bullshit, nonsense, false. The truth of the matter is that back then, this was a different era, alright? It really was. It was a different era of YouTube. And back then, people used to use YouTube private messaging. I don't even use that anymore. Sending me a private message on YouTube. I haven't even looked at a YouTube private message in a great part of 5 years. Alright, let's be very clear about the very end of the relationship, because people basically make shit up completely about that, saying someone dumped someone or did this or did that. First of all, what happened is none of anyone's fucking business. And the bottom line is that myself and my ex never disclosed that information, and we never will, because it's none of anyone's fucking business, the truth of the matter behind everything that happened here. Alright? But there was a weird situation, because we had already broken up in early 2017. Alright? We had already broken up. And when we had broken up, we didn't make it public. Alright? But there was one particular day when I was streaming, I believe I was doing like a podcast, and I get a call, alright? The call is from my ex's job, saying, your ex, you know, had a medical issue, and we need you to come pick her up. At that point, my ex was in the process of moving out of the house. Like, she had some of her stuff out already, and she was staying somewhere else temporarily. By the time that I had gotten to her job, I'd been paid for an Uber and everything. By the time that I got to her job, she was already at the hospital. So I took the car. By the way, I was still letting her drive my car, despite the fact that we were broken up. She was still driving my car. I was that nice of a guy. I go to the hospital, to find out what the hell's actually going on, and I guess she had had a panic attack. They'd given her some kind of a pill. I don't even know what it was. Was it antidepressant? Was it I don't even know, because I'm not involved anymore. You know, she's my ex. So all that being said, all right, when I came back home, she was all zonked out or whatever, and she's like, you're gonna go on your stream now and tell everyone about the story, right? I was like, of course I am, as long as it's okay with you. And she was like, yeah, go ahead. So I did. I came back, I did a stream where I explained exactly what I just told you guys. So basically the story ended up, only I had to spin it to not let you know that we were already broken up, okay? And then it was actually over the course of the next week or two that she moved all her stuff out, and that was the end of our relationship, right? You know, that was it. And all I saw on the internet was Phil, without permission, went online and disclosed a medical issue with his girlfriend / fiance. At the time we were supposed to be engaged, even though we had broken up. People thought we were still engaged. And he gave all her medical history to everyone on the internet, and then said that he's not giving permission for her to ever have an ambulance come and pick her up ever again, that from now on, no one should ever call the emergency line, but instead they should just hand her a pill and leave her alone. Like, what the fuck? Where did you get that from the story that I told? Like, that's not even close to what happened. The thing is, I know if this ever happens again, I'm gonna tell them, you are not allowed to bring her to the hospital. No, you get no permission to fucking do it. You can't give her a pill, you want to give her a pill, and that's it, because you're just gonna waste our time again. Seriously, they just make shit up. Yeah, that's the other thing. So, just so you guys know, I have a list. I actually have a list of things that are common misconceptions that people who slander about me. Demand that she never go to a hospital ever again, instead of just give her a pill and leave her where they found her. How could I have made that demand when we were broken up? Alright, now moving on. Alright, let's talk a little bit about Project 7. Because I hate to tell you guys this, but I've already addressed this before. Project... But what I've heard is that people say, to this day, say, well, Phil scammed his friends, or he ripped off his friends and never paid them for anything, and that's why they hate him to this day. Bullshit.
Whoa.
That's complete and utter fucking bullshit. He would...
Alpha 2, on a peut-être des gars qui s'approchent de notre position. Ici Frogman 6, Roméo, notre troupe s'est fait attaquer à notre dernière position connue. On a 2 blessés graves. Mais où êtes-vous, les gars? Suivez le sang.
L'appel de regard, l'envoûtement d'une monture parfaite, le magnétisme animal.
Oui, l'animal, mais moi, ce qui est important pour moi, c'est d'être pris en charge.
Handsomely paid for all of that stuff. When we first started, he got paid 50% of everything that we made money on. He got half of what I made. Later on, with my Machinima Elixir, with Machinima, my old YouTube partnership company, they started refusing to even give me stats on how much money I was making on my videos. That's how bad Machinima got near the end. They wouldn't even fucking come, alright? And a fair amount of money for you to come do this every week. See, we can't figure out the actual half anymore. It's not even possible to figure it out. Instead, let's just say, okay, let's make an arrangement where every time you come visit and we do this co-op work together, I'll pay you this amount of money. And that's what we did probably for the last 2 years that we did co-op. We had to do it that way. There was never discussion that people were going to get paid based on how the videos performed on YouTube. There was never discussion about how much money anyone's investing in the series.
I really like this game.
Compliment on my shit.
Never happened, okay? Alright. Let's continue. I can't believe some of this shit. I really can't. Alright, let's continue here. I wanted to hit an 11-year-old girl. You're right. I just wanted to just, punch a girl right in the fucking face. I top up to that one. No! What the fuck are you talking about? You're 11? And your parents bought you a gaming PC? What's wrong with this picture?
Probably because I'm thoughtful. You click on it, just so you know.
Click on it, huh? Good, now I'm away from that annoying fucking bitch of a kid who I would have slapped in real fucking life if they talked to me like that.
That's fucked up.
I would have fucking pissed
That is
the shit
fucked
out
up,
of
bro.
him. What the fuck? Anyway. But there was a girl who I walked into a room and literally just became an insane brat, insulting me and saying nasty shit to me. I didn't even say a word. And she was saying like nasty shit directly. I was like, damn, you know, that girl needs a fucking smack or something. I don't even remember exactly what I said, but it was a reactionary thing because he's saying, you know, she needs a smack because if that was me in my day when I was growing up and I was a kid and I acted like that, my parents would smack me right in the head. That's just how it was back then. Of course not. They would have banned me. But I didn't say that. It was an off-the-cuff comment. Stupidity is that when I ask for help, that I go and I blow money on stuff, and that's not the case at all. Everything that I've ever asked you guys for has gone exactly towards what I said it was going to be. All right. So the first time around, we got to talk about this one because this one goes years back too. Phil stole fan donations that went towards the Project 7 reboot. Phil stole fan donations that went towards a Project 7 reboot. Every statement in that is false. All right, besides maybe my name. Stole? I didn't steal anything. What they're talking about is a Patreon goal level that was hit for 1 month in the summer of like 2015. Maybe it was 2016, but I'm almost positive it was as far back as 2015. Not stole, it was raised legitimately via a Patreon goal level. Alright. Fan donations, they weren't fan donations, they were Patreon contributions, that's different. That went towards the Project 7 reboot. Wrong, it wasn't for a Project 7 reboot. It was for me to take some time out that month to do a Project 7 reboot trailer. Trailer. The whole Project 7 thing was complete nonsense. Alright? But in regards to the recent things that have happened with me raising tax funds, there were 2 specific times, alright, when I needed to raise tax funds. Once was in the fall/late 2017 because I needed to pay a state tax payment by the end of 2017, and then I had to pay a bunch of money in 2018 for state taxes. Okay? I announced this dilemma of mine in November of 2017 on my Thanksgiving Day podcast. I did a Thanksgiving Day special podcast, and I announced this problem to my viewing audience on Thanksgiving Day 2017. You can go back and watch it. It's still live over on my vlogging channel, The King of 8 Vlogs. All right. Now, during 2017 was the year when early in the year I broke up with my ex, and I started talking to and then dating my now wife, Kat. Okay. Now, Kat didn't live around here, and she had to visit me a couple times. I had to take time away from streaming stuff to spend time with her. I didn't disclose that was happening because I knew if I did, we were trying to get up in our private shit. All right. But what people say to this day, Phil raised all that money for the taxes so he could secretly fly his new girlfriend across the country to spend time with him. Now let's look at the timeline. Well, the first time the cat came to visit me was the summer of 2017. The second time she came to visit me was the fall, which I believe was October of 2017, because she actually helped me pick out my Halloween costume for the Halloween special that I did that year. I announced my financial dilemma about the state taxes and Thanksgiving of 2017. So obviously what Phil did is he announced it so he could raise funds, go back in time, and pay for the 2 visits beforehand. You fucking dumbasses. You talk out of your fucking asses about this stuff and make the most crazy, controversial, insane theories that make no fucking sense. It's such a weird conspiracy. Alright, here's a legit question. Someone took me $1 and asked, did I get Almighty Kevin being kicked off of Twitch TV? No. I wholeheartedly will 100% tell you to your face, looking to the camera as I say it as well, in case someone said, oh, Phil was looking to the camera. I didn't get Tevin banned from Twitch. I had nothing to do with it at all. Zero. I didn't even know about it until after the fact. People came into my chat and told me. What happened is he pissed off people. Like when you do stuff that not only negatively affects me but affects other people, you piss off the wrong people, man. And you gotta understand that. Like people will eventually hold you accountable for shit that you've done. And he is the kind of guy that thinks that everything's fair game. He could bring up shit about, you know, my relatives and shit about other people, like my moderators and my viewers, and he said it's all funny, and it's not. It's fucked up that he's bringing personal shit like that, and I get the feeling he wrote the wrong person the wrong way. And they wrote Twitch management and said, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Did you watch 5 minutes of his stream and see what the fuck he's doing? And they got him shit canned. Alright? I had nothing to do with it at all. Now, I don't know if that's really the case. That's my speculation. But I have no truth about any of that. Okay? That never happened either. So Dark didn't acknowledge this. Can you debunk people saying you leaked your ex-girlfriend's nude pictures on a video? That never happened. What happened was there was a picture of my ex-girlfriend. It wasn't a picture. It was a thumbnail. A thumbnail of a picture, I think. That was, by the way, this is from like, again, this is, you know, 2012, 2013, something like that. 100 years ago. And there was a little thumbnail somewhere on my desktop, or you know, no, it was in a folder, and I had been recording a video doing something else, and apparently the thumbnail popped up. It wasn't a nude at all. It wasn't a nude at all. There's nothing nude whatsoever in the picture. It was a thumbnail, and it was not a nude. But it was her like posing with her arm like this, so people assumed that it was a nude, and started saying, "Oh, it's a nude, it's a nude." It wasn't a nude. If it was a nude, I wouldn't be on YouTube. I would have been banned from YouTube, stupid.
I'm not gonna have enough. Shit.
I did a post about it in the last.
Alright. Well, guys, I think I talked long enough. I've had enough. I got it off my chest. I do feel better. I hope that
Good.
you have a lot of misconceptions for a lot of people that they've had for over the years.
If you come to America, I got a horse for you. Oh, cool. I love horses. But I can't come there. It's too far away. Do you have an IG? Instagram? Is that Instagram? North of Minnesota. Hey, Darren. How's it going? Matthew, Northern Minnesota. I've always wanted a pony. When I was in
If definitively I had done the horrible things, I would have been banned from YouTube, banned from Twitch, banned from Twitter, banned from the internet, banned from the earth, banned from the Milky Way, launched off into a black hole, shot across, you know, the whole plane of existence, and had all my molecules ripped apart at the seams, because how could someone so horrible as me even be allowed to exist in this plane of existence, right? See what I mean? But none of that ever happened, because it's all bullshit on my behalf and my expense, so they can get clickbait. And you fell for it if you believed any of that stuff. And it sucks if you did, you know? I can't blame you for it, especially now that there's so much stuff that goes on negative about me in the last 7 years that people just believe it is fact. But the bottom line is none of it is true. A lot of it's based on snippets of fact or things here or there, but none of it is true. And no one will ever show you evidence otherwise because it ain't true.
I presented you quite a bit of evidence to back up our claims as the detractor community. Now, Phil will never show you any evidence of anything going on in his life because he wants to keep duping his fans into giving him money. But other than that, this whole stream was to piggyback off of his hot viral tweet about Pro Jared. And that is just sad. But to continue our list, we're going to look at one of the bigger issues in 2019 for Phil. And that is his mods and his genuine fans leaving him and leaking why.
By the way, Dr. Bottom Line is just remove the ban on Liquid Indo. You realize I just saw that, right? Like, you just removed... Why did you remove a ban on someone who I banned? Why did you do that? You literally just got caught out red-handed. No, now you're trying to re-ban them. That's not how it works. Now you have to explain to everyone what you just did and why you thought you can sneak that in. Everyone, you just got caught red-handed with your hand in the cookie jar, dude. Like 1,000,000% caught out on banning someone that's permanently banned. So you better explain your actions right now. You got caught the fuck out, dude. 1,000,000% caught out. Damn, dude. Oh, you still haven't said anything. Still waiting on an answer. Last few months they said, okay, it's okay, my bad. What? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think you're full of shit. I think you literally just got caught, dude. Seriously, I think you got caught the fuck out. Every once in a while, someone who I permanently banned gets unbanned, and I wonder how. We just literally just saw it right there live. Oops. You're no longer a moderator, the bottom line is, until you can actually explain your actions without making up bullshit on the stream, you're not a mod anymore. Boy, did he just get caught the fuck out, dude. I mean, wow. That was probably the biggest instance ever of catching someone red-handed doing something behind my back. Because that's the worst thing to me is like dishonesty. I hate dishonesty. I would rather someone hates my guts coming to my face than do stuff underhanded behind my back. You see what I'm saying? So, when someone does shit behind my back like that, that's the absolute worst thing you can do. Because I think that's little shit kind of behavior. That's like if you're a real coward, you know, that's how you behave. But the thing is, a lot of people probably don't realize that. I get a feeling he did it, he wasn't thinking that. But it was, oh, how can I piss off Phil? No, he was like, oh, I want to get my friend back in the chat. Which I see, you know, he was thinking, oh yeah, so here's Phil, someone with a history of people backstabbing him constantly. Let's just backstab him again to get my friend in there. He's probably didn't think about that, you know? Oh, so there we go. So the bottom line is just literally admitting that he's an asshole. He literally publicly just admitted in the street chat that he's an asshole and he was underhandedly trying to hurt me purposely behind my back. He just admitted it. Okay. Oh, you're right. You will take the ban. You're absolutely right. You will take the ban. You'll take the ban hard right in your fucking ass. Get the fuck out. You're supposed to be someone I trust, and you're gonna be a dickhead and go behind my back and hurt me or something. Get the fuck out. You'll take the ban real hard right up the
No, you're not so, Phil.
The chocolate, or the bottom line, as he was known at the time, wasn't the only mod that left. Swaggins and Landingo also left, leaving Phil's mod coverage very bare.
Mm-hmm.
Next up on this list is number 6, mandatory contributions.
contributions are not mandatory.
Can't read.
That's for all of those lovely bugle.
It's a 4-year begging.
Big ups to Actually over there on Kiwi Farms for all of those lovely bugles throughout the begging year that was 2019 for DSP. And I hope you appreciated that original song made by yours truly. But moving on to number 5.
It's good and bad.
$17,000.
So here's the good news. All right, I misunderstood how a lot of the tax stuff worked. I thought that if I didn't pay my taxes by April 15th, that I was going to have a ridiculous amount of late fees, a ridiculous amount of interest, and like it was going to destroy me. Like not only would I owe what I owe for my regular taxes for the year, but also then there would be a ton of extra shit on top of it. Let me add these two numbers quickly. Hold on, everybody. Get my calculator out. So this
5
plus this. Okay. All right. So, factoring in all things and what I already have to put towards it, the net amount that I still am going to owe to the government. All right. $17,161. Holy shit! Oh, fuck! Ouch. That is horrible, right? That's fucking insane amount of money. Yeah. That's what they're telling me I owe by mid-April. Okay? That is bad. Alright? But. We don't have to meet this target yet. Okay? Not yet. Because there's some good news. Alright? Here's what my tax guy told me. Okay? He said, good news is that he works with the government all the time. And he's very confident, alright, very confident, that if I can raise a certain amount of money by mid-April and put it towards this, that he's confident that he can take the rest of what I owe and he can negotiate it into a payment plan. Let's just $5,000. Let's say I can raise $5,000 between now and mid-April to put towards this total of 17 grand that I still owe. Okay? So then he'll take the remaining money and figure it out, divide it by 24 or whatever, and say, okay, this is a monthly payment of this. But it's not guaranteed. Like, he's basically saying he's going to try to get me the best terms possible, but he can't do that until we see actually how much I have to put towards the taxes. You see what I mean? Like, once he has an amount, I say, okay, this is what you owe. I'll go to the federal government. I'll tell them the situation, and I'll put you on a direct program where every month they basically take it right out of your bank account. And as long as you do that and you agree to these terms, there's like no fees, no interest. You're not going to get destroyed. It's just going to be a set payment plan.
I'm just going to delete the TikTok.
You know, a set amount of time. Okay. Now I'm going to be very honest with everyone here. He's being very honest with all of you. Okay. So just being very honest here, you know, the payment plan might not work.
12. Good.
I can by April 15th. The more I raise, the better the situation for me. Okay. So if I can raise, you know, half of what I owe, all right, and have that to pay towards it, and I gotta sell my house. There's nothing I can do about it. It's the only way I can make the money. All right. But what I'm hoping is that, you know, with this marathon on Saturday, you know, where we're trying to raise many tips for this situation, that I can raise enough to make a big dent in this tax total. All right. Get it down as much as I can, and that can get me on a payment plan that's affordable for me. New phrase of create.
Fruits au fond. Yogourt à froid avec les fruits au fond. Pour de vrai.
150 ans chez Canac. Laisse-moi te dire que j'en ai vu des affaires. Comme quoi? Une fois, j'ai vu une gang de triporteurs criminalisés rentrer dans le magasin. Ils voulaient quoi? Je pensais qu'ils voulaient la caisse. la caisse. Mais dans le fond, il voulait juste les meilleurs prix.
Les meilleurs prix.
Puis des conseils.
Des conseils.
C'est ridicule comme ça. Pas autant que nos prix, jeune. Pas autant que nos prix.
Avec des prix ridicules depuis 150 ans. Canadien pour vrai.
It's really invigorating to walk around and see this emerging technology.
You have something to learn from everyone.
If you're not a consensus, you're missing out. Phase of creation, you obviously have not listened to a word that I fucking said. I said that the total that I just told all of you is after any money I have left over from Emerald 7. You people like you do piss me off when you start. I just explained it, and then you act like I never said it, and then people will have weird conspiracy theories about where the money went. Okay? So stop it. Listen. Listen the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Language, Philip.
Jesus. So here's the deal. I think it's time, basically now that I know what I owe, I know what I'm up against. If I can raise around $17,000, boom, I'm actually good. Like, that would put me in a good position. I'd be like, wow, I raised the money, the taxes aren't even an issue for this year, now I can just go on business as usual and not have to worry about it at all. Realistically, do I see myself raising $17,000 in 3 weeks? No. Just be very honest with all of you. Alright? Be very, very honest with all of you. I don't foresee this happening whatsoever. Okay, I don't. What I'm hoping is that with Sekiro right here around the corner, which is going to bring out a lot of people who normally wouldn't come by, with the marathon on Saturday, which I know a lot of people are going to probably come out and hopefully be generous and help out with tips, and with my birthday week coming up. The first week of April is actually my birthday on the 6th, and as I usually do, like last year, I'll have decorations and stuff. I'll try to hype it up, birthday week fun and stuff. Hopefully some people will be generous and will raise as much as I possibly humanly can. Alright? And go from there. If I can raise a big amount of money and put it towards the taxes, I think I'll at least be in a good or better position than originally I had imagined. Obviously the goal here is to be in a position that I can afford where I'm not, oh my god, there's no way to pay bills and there's no way to pay what I owe, so I have to sell my house. Alright? I don't want to be in that position. Okay? Okay, so yes, people are saying you should just do it. Do a $17,000 tips bar. Well, I'm not gonna have a tips bar, but I definitely will have a running tally of what I've raised. Okay? And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. All right? Like I told you guys, this Saturday is basically make or break for me, and it's true. I need to raise a significant amount of stuff this coming Saturday. In the hopes that I can make a giant dent in what I owe and go from there. So we'll see how it goes. Okay? Alright, so that is it. That's the deal for now. Okay? And we'll see how it works. Well, I am feeling positive for Sekiro tomorrow and the marathon on Saturday, and of course this coming week we're gonna have Sekiro paired with MLB, and a lot of fun stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so that's the deal. So anyway, in summary, I owe just over $17,000 in taxes still to the government, and I need to raise as many funds as possible before the middle of April in order to put towards said taxes. Okay, the more I raise, the better. Even if I can't raise the full amount, the more I raise, the situation is when I go to the government and say, here's what I have, please put me on a payment plan for the rest of it, my tax guy is very confident that as long as I can raise a significant amount of money, between now and mid-April to put towards this, that we'll be able to get onto this payment plan. Alright? So that's the deal, and that's why, you don't have to feel discouraged or disheartened here. You don't, because it's not like I absolutely 100% have to raise the full amount in these 3 weeks that I have, okay? It would be amazing if I could, and I'm certainly not saying, oh my god, I wouldn't want that. I mean, obviously, yes. If I could raise that full amount and boom, put it right towards it, holy shit, that would make me like right for my year. It'd be so much better. I don't have to constantly worrying about this shit, okay? But the bottom line is, in reality, I'm pretty sure we all know I'm not raising that much. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens with Sekiro. Let's see what happens with the marathon on Saturday. let's see what happens with my birthday week, and let's hope for the best. And hopefully, you know, this can turn into something positive, and you know, with between what I can actually realistically raise and everything, things work out well. Okay. In addition to that, my trip to Connecticut is set. It's going to be the second week of April. I'm not giving you specific dates or anything yet. I will as we get closer to it. But it's basically looking like I'm going to be here my entire birthday week, basically busting my butt, putting out fun streams for all of you, and trying to raise as much as possible before I'm out of here to go visit my parents in Connecticut. Okay? Fair enough? Okay. There you go. There you go. Alright, now, okay. DSP's biggest fan, obviously, is a troll. Did you get $250 in tips last night? What does that have to do with anything? Like, what is your actual point? This is what I mean. You get people like New Face of Creation who say, well, what happened to the money for Emerald 7? You get this guy, what happened to the $250 you raised last night? Where do you think it went? But what I'm hoping is not like I said, we'll get to a situation here where I've been raising up to at least either get on the payment plan or pay off everything if I can, which I doubt's gonna happen, but trying to be positive and realistic here and get to a situation where it's not just a constant worrying about the next thing, So there you go.
Phil failed in reaching his goal. However, his mom later on bailed him out during that birthday week, but we'll get to that one soon. Earlier this year, though, Phil had a chance to go on an interview with another internet celebrity, and that was Jeremy of The Quartering. And together, the Super Gout Brothers went on a Circle Jerk Fest.
Of the specifics of why you may love him or why you may hate him. I asked you, the viewer, for some interview questions. I asked as many as I reasonably could. I think the interview, I hope the interview will be entertaining to you. I think Phil is a pretty interesting story. He seems to me to be a relatively humble man, a man willing to accept he's made mistakes in the past, but also a man that
Phil has a gouty fat butt.
And to those that
Jeremy, not known to do much research for any of his interviews, made a video about the cancel culture surrounding DSP. And DSP took it as a fair video. The two eventually came to terms and scheduled out an interview. And oh boy, did it ever suck. Jeremy didn't do his research, and Phil was softballed several questions. And anything that came remotely close to being a troll question was scrutinized by Phil, with just Jeremy nodding and agreeing. There were plenty of sniffs, plenty of snorts, and Phil looking very uncomfortable.
I don't like that video I made last week. That was the first video I ever made about you, even though I've known about you for many years. I'm not like as you might call it, a detractor channel.
No, absolutely not. That's honestly one of the reasons why when I saw the video, I was like, this guy is not someone who constantly rags on me. I watched the video. Yeah, he took some shots at me. Everyone has, right? Yeah. So it didn't offend me, and I was like, you were actually being honest and upfront, and you were analyzing it from kind of a third-party standpoint that was fair about these asshole independent media bullshit, trying to attack me. And I was like, this guy actually is like legit. Like, this is a fair video about me. Out of all the stuff that gets made about me, very rarely do I get a fair video made about me. So that's why I kind of
Yeah, I thought it was funny that, when I saw those articles came out, it was like, DSP says some racist shit, and then they post to like videos from 2 years ago or something like that, of you essentially doing like Ching Chung Bing Bong, which is, by the way, done by every mainstream media, person in the last 10 years. So it's not like you were saying anything in particular, anything crazy offensive or anything like that. And a lot of these outlets, as you saw in the video, they were unaware of your uncancelability. So, maybe I'll start with, like, I don't want to just jump right in and with some, like, questions that are going to put you on guard or whatever. So, maybe some, like, reasonable questions. Because to be honest with you, it might surprise you. Like, most of my viewers are not people that are used, like, to be honest, most people that replied to those threads were like, ask genuine questions. As you saw the list, you're like, oh, these aren't that bad.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for post YouTube? So have you given any thought to, like, what the fuck am I gonna do after all this, or how does that thought process go?
Yeah, first of all, when I started, I never wanted to do this for a living at all. This was only, I wanted to do this for a hobby, and then I lost my full-time job. Out of nowhere, I got laid off, blindsided. They actually, like, went nuts on the ads, and I made, like, a ton of money in a couple of months. But anyway, get back to your original question, like, I never planned on doing this to make any money. Like, I fell in my lap out of nowhere overnight. I was like, oh crap, this is amazing. I'm making more money now than I ever did at my office job. For 5 years that I was working there, they laid me off, and now I'm making, like, so much more money. It's crazy. Of course, we all know that bubble didn't last at first, and, now everything is so bad on YouTube. So I don't want to, like, ever say that in my life I would quit doing this outright, but it's pretty unrealistic to expect that you could ever do this your whole life.
I know you must know. You're not an idiot. You must know that some people are hate watching you, and so you interact with people or whatever the case may be. Where do you think? How does that work into your live stream? Interacting with these people that are just always in your orbit. Just to shit on you.
We're just here to take a big dump on everybody. We don't care what you do or what it is. We have to find the faults and destroy you, and they get jollies doing that. I used to heavily police my comments on my videos, heavily police them, to the point where people were like, I don't like watching Phil's videos because I can't comment. When I comment, everything seems like it's super policed and commented on there. At one point, I just let it go, and what I noticed systematically is over the years, more toxic people came in, more stuff just kept crapping on the videos. Some people say don't acknowledge it at all. But the thing is, if a lot of people are doing it and you don't acknowledge it at all, now it's like they're not going to come back, and when you allow that thing to have power, you know what I mean? It gets even worse. And at the same time, if you don't acknowledge it at all, that's a group of people that, number one, could be contributing and they're not.
Several channels that basically are 100% dedicated to making content, and you've got a few of them too. So, well, how do you approach that type of content now? What do you think of these dedicated channels that are basically just memeing on you?
See, here's the thing, again, I'm different now than I used to be. When I was a full-time YouTuber, I was, like, really pissed off about it. And I would call these channels out, they're stealing my content, I wish I could take them down, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even like that anymore. Don't try to actually, like, hurt myself or my livelihood or my family. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because sadly, there's people who do take it that far, and I hate to say it, but the people who make those channels don't realize that what they're doing is kind of putting the ammo into a group of people who aren't like that. Those guys, they're doing it for laughs. They're doing it to make fun of me and to make some popularity, get popularity on my expense, right?
Yeah.
They're not laughing with me, they're laughing at me, but they get a rise, they make some money doing it, whatever. It's fine. I don't care about that. What I care about is now the person who watches all their content comes after me and my family personally, which has happened many times.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about. Like, I don't care if someone makes a video, this is how you don't play, here's a montage of Phil sucking at Dark Souls. Big deal. But you make a video that says, Phil is 100% a scammer, and he regularly, every day, he steals money from his viewers by lying to them constantly, and he's a really dishonest, disgusting person, and he really shouldn't exist. You're going to get people who are going to, like, in their head, not understand that that's a video to make fun of me. They think this is a call to action. And now they think that they have to do everything they possibly can to hurt someone like me or someone like me. Some of the stuff that's happened, you wouldn't even believe some of the stuff that people try to do.
I've had it all too. I've had swattings. I've had to deal with a lot of that bullshit too. People calling my fucking mom, who doesn't even know how to use Facebook or whatever.
Right.
You know, people called my mother-in-law and told her that I was a neo-Nazi. You know, and I said I wouldn't ask any questions about it specifically, but that is the biggest issue with your detractors is the money.
Initially, they'll tell you it's money, but then if you kind of debunk what they're talking about, oh, that didn't really happen, here's what really happened. Oh, well, didn't you also know that Phil did this and this and this and this and this and this and this?
Yeah.
You know?
You know what the big one that came up with the most was this cat thing.
Let's stop it right there. The rest of the interview was extremely boring, talking about gout, victim blaming, and various other normal DSP topics. But let's talk about this cat thing. In early August, Phil decided to give out some positive news in that things in the stream were going to change from this great big reveal coming up during his Mario 64 marathon. And well, what he did reveal was a tips goal of $1,000, with secondary tips goal of $2,000 that was forgotten about. However, Jasper, the $2,000 cat, was revealed.
Someone who I'm going to introduce you to today, who has been a part of our lives for quite some time, all right? And it's funny because with all the stuff that we've had to do, we've had to keep a lot of stuff private. Come on up here. Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our pet.
Jasper Kitty.
Oh, here we go. Here's our pet.
Oh!
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. This is Jasper, ladies and gentlemen. Jasper the cat. Twisty. His favorite toy is these twisty things that we bought for him. These little strands. So here's the funny thing. Grab it. Here's the funny thing. He's declawed in the front.
12, okay.
An amazing cat. Like I said, he's super friendly. He's such a nice cat, and no one wanted to adopt him because he was declawed. Yeah, so it's a Jasper Cam, right? So that would be cool, right? And that's what I was thinking about all this in my head, and really the truth of the matter is we wanted to kind of reveal him for a long time now, but with all the stuff that's been going on in our lives personally, we just didn't. We wanted to wait for the right time. All right. And we just felt now is kind of the right time because I'm doing so many chill streams now that it made sense. Here, come on, come up here again, Jasper. Come up here. Here you go. See, Jasper doesn't know that there's a camera here, so he doesn't know to look at you guys. We got a bunch of toys and stuff that I can bring in here to play with him during the chill streams at night too, you know. One thing he really likes to do, he likes to knead stuff with his hands. So he's kneading, right now he's kneading the love seed with his hands. More than likely, if you're not really hanging out with it that much, and you run into him in the house and say, meow.
Jasper hasn't really enhanced the streams at all. Most of the time he's sleeping in the office, Cat's stable, if you will. Or he's downstairs spending time with Cat instead of Phil. Phil used this whole reveal to go ahead and scam his fans once again, causing fans and mods to finally leave Phil's streams. Number 2 on this list happened very recently, and I was lucky enough to have one of my fantastic field agents provide me with the information. And we found out that the foreclosure saga has finally begun.
This is a situation where, once again, I've done absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever.
This is a legitimate court case in which Phil is on the hook for quite a bit of money, upwards of $101,000, because he has yet to pay for his condo in Connecticut that he left abandoned. He didn't short sell it, he didn't take a loss, because his ego would have taken a massive hit.
We all know what that's from. That's my new catchphrase.
Speaking of Phil's ego, he wanted to act like a big boy, mature adult this year, and it leads us to our number one spot. DSP gets married. This wedding happened after months of Phil saying that they didn't have the money to get married, let alone engaged, which I thought was going to happen on this Connecticut trip where they had to go and meet his dying parents. But he pulled a fast one and just jumped the charge and got married. And luckily for us, Mr. Hutstuff has LSB's and Kevin's reaction.
Bruh is real? Hang on. I'm either getting clowned really fucking hard. I fucking called it. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I fucking called it. I called it that this fucking trip was gonna be money to buy a ring and a honeymoon. No fucking way. You goddamn pig.
Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to our show. This is doing more for this 8 April 2025. We woke up, we were uploading clips. We're going to be uploading clips from the sunrise, and then we'll be filming a couple of videos. It's going to be a nice sunrise this morning, so we're going to be enjoying that. It's going to be fun. And that is pretty much it. So, kind of a busy morning, but this is the evening slash very early morning of the 8th of April 2025 in the beautiful city of Lachine.
It's fucking real! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Unfucking believable!
It's cold. A little bit cold. It's not
Look
bad.
how awkward she looks in that dress! Oh my god!
Good, okay, perfect.
Fucking called it. You guys paid for that wedding dress. Not you guys, but Phil's audience paid for the fucking wedding dress. They paid for the dress, they paid for the rings. Guys, this trip is gonna be 100% paid for by my parents. Fuck you. You guys paid for a suit, you guys paid for a dress, you guys paid for rings. I fucking called this months ago when he said, oh, my fucking parents are dying. Oh my god.
Pretty scummy move.
Hang on,
Pretty.
Is there a way for me to interact with this?
Scummy move.
No, it won't let me click on the play button. What does it look like off screen? What is with her nails? Do you guys see this? She's got 4 white nails and 1 golden nail. Oh my god. What is this? Holy shit. It was planned from the beginning. It was so his parents could be there for the wedding. Yeah. I didn't think that far ahead, but he definitely gold dust nail. Yeah, that's perfect. I was gonna make a weekly DSP and just be like, oh, Phil put this awkward Instagram picture out. Phil put this other awkward Instagram picture out.
Good.
Dacky, you called the Instagram announcement? Damn. Yeah, I was calling that this trip is to go and get married, or at least go and get engaged. Holy shit. Wait,
DSP got he just posted he got married. Yo, he memed us the fuck out. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fucked up.
sure.
Oh, YouTube channel's gonna love that. I gotta go through so much effort. Oh no, I'm tripping. I already got this one open. Was that why he had the question mark tweet? Because he was asking Captain America. Surprise, we got married. It was a tiny ceremony and my son is 10 years old, but we are so happy. Full story coming this weekend. Wow. I guess it's him lying to his viewers. Oh, she really... I can't even say what I think she looked like on this website. I'm gonna be going to Band World. I'm not saying anything. Ooh.
Underestimated is a Kazi foe, and when the Great One sensed that the Skeleton King was no longer watching, the illusion was lifted, and the child was smiling.
71, which is great.
Oh man, I can't believe this is a thing. This is so nice. This is such a meme. This changes everything. Yo, this dude, did he lie about his parents almost dying to get married? What is that? Who does this? I have no money. I don't have money to do anything. And then he told us he wore a suit from 10 years ago. He looked like Sargon probably. I want to see your wrist in that suit, though. This hand looks really old, too. Oh, oh. Oh, man. And it's funny because something I wanted to do on YouTube before I streamed again was kind of about her moving in. Like what he was saying way before. Well, no, I guess right before she actually did. This dude. Oh man, that is such a big meme. How was anybody gonna feel about something like that? I lied about taxes, frame trapped you and lied about my parents dying, and then hit you with a parry, and then parried into getting married. What are you even supposed to think? Wow, when is the next time we fucking see Doc? Shit, it's Wednesday. Next time we see this dude is gonna be Thursday, bruh. Oh man, the internet is gonna... Oh. What a fucking meme. Oh, dog.
Far.
2019 was an absolute crazy year in the DSP cinematic universe. 2020.
2020?
Retire all the cliches. And let's make retirement mean new beginnings, passions, financial possibilities.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Crystal, and I have my cousin here, Tammy. Her name's Tammy, and we're at a brand new place here in Goodlettsville. Never been here before. Never even been here before. And it's called Pollo Campero, which I think means either like country chicken or camp chicken or cowboy chicken. Okay. I'm not sure which one. Oh, all right. Because the logo is a chicken wearing a cowboy hat going like this. And that's cute. And that's really cute. It is cute. The one thing you're gonna have to pay attention to is there's no shade. 'Cause I don't know where to put a car.
We're going to drive around till we find shade, Crystal. The damn phone's gonna explode. Well, I will drive around for 10 minutes if need be to find shade. The mukbang lighting has to be good.
The lighting has to be good, but also if your phone explodes, you will pass away.
Yeah, and if your phone explodes, guess what? No mukbang. Think about that.
They could probably do it like a black box, so where they go in after a plane crash and get all the information.
But who's going to do that if we're dead? Because me and you, we're the ones that run this mukbang company.
Probably the FBI.
Oh, they got horchatas. Meat nuggets.
Meat nuggets.
I'm going to try their Campo grilled. I'm going to try their grilled chicken. What sides they got? Beans, rice, french fries, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, yucca fries, and sweet plantains.
Plantains.
We gotta try their coleslaw.
Guess what? No Coke here, so red flag. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Hey, give me 1 minute. Thank you. Alright. I'm gonna get me leg thigh, one side and a roll. Where I get a leg and a thigh. I'm gonna get 3 pieces of meat. And I'm gonna add a side.
Do whatever you want.
That's okay? That's alright if I add a
I
side?
put it on my credit card.
Okay.
You get 3 sides, but don't forget to get 4. That's going too crazy.
Okay. You know what you want yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'm ready.
Alright, you give me 1 moment.
Yep. Cookies and flan.
Flan. You know I love flan.
Okay, we'll get flan. Flan. This just looks good. It's good.
What you got back there? Potted soil?
Yeah, I'm it's been there for a few days. I'm planting some vegetables.
Choo 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 choo. Okay. Whoa. Don't blink. It's your blink. Welcome to the Welcome Show. Guys are doing well. Having a wonderful day on this 8th April 2025. We have a beautiful sunrise that's behind us. Let me show you. And yes, you're seeing snow. It is a Wednesday today, so happy Wednesday. Today we're making videos, and this is the very first video. So I think what I have to do is a bit of coffee. Now we are not noobs. We're not gonna get today on the menu. There's the beautiful Cafe Right. However, Cafe Right is a bit underwhelming, so we're gonna be putting 2 bags of one. And yes, it's a bit cold outside, but it's nice. You know why it's nice? Because the sun is behind us. So the sun literally got our back. How nice was that? So the first video of the day is actually not the best first video to do, but still, people ask me, oh, for fuck's sakes. No, they don't ask me why you swear so much. They ask me why you're so messy though. People often ask me, how do you do that to give up, right? Now, a lot of people would give up because, again, I've been doing this for 4 years. It isn't yet something that brings me income, which a lot of people would say, yo, fuck that, I'm patient but not have patient, right? So the question is, how do we do not to give up? And the answer is actually pretty simple. Well, everything that I'm going to talk about today is via my own design, via my own understanding. Yes, we're filming. Nice. I don't want to be filming the door like last time. Yes, there's a video that I didn't post, thank God, that is 45 minutes long of filming this door. Why? Because we forgot to turn the camera back. Yeah. So, the reality is, there's often that I want to give up. There's often time where I thought this isn't for me. And those days, those last weeks, those last days, and they've been a lot more current lately. Because you guys remember what I told you about why we did this channel. This channel came out of a need to express ourselves. This channel came out of a need to be social. This channel came out of a need to change my normal life, because my normal life was a dude that was getting bullied at work, right? So we did change that, and that's thanks to the social media. Then we did that for 3 years, and it was an obsession because it was something that I enjoyed doing so much, right? And I was going to work, and I had this job that I kind of like, but it was nowhere near the fun that I had making content, right? And then for the very finale of the thing is the fact that it's so weird to talk about. It is so odd to mention, but the simple fact that we were able to do this for 3.5 years without the thought of never giving up. And then the starting to give up came in. The fact that this, so I think I should tell you in cases of where I want to give up. That way we can make a better picture. We can make a better understanding of why and how I didn't give up, right? So the thought about giving up came shortly after. So I left work in March. The unemployment covered me for 10 months, which was October is 10, so that's 8. 8 is what? 8 is August. Yeah, 8 is August. So it start of August. And then you guys remember that I had my burnout in September and October. So the thought came in. So the thought was like, okay, well, I don't need to do this for money, because I do have a job, and the job is paying my bills, right? I'm doing this out of the hobby. But then I fell in love with it, and I was like, okay, well, you got a year to make it something that's worth, that is plausible, that is worth investing in time, of course, because it's easy to invest in time when it's an hobby, but when it's a 40 hours, 60 hours a week, right? Then it's a bit more, and especially if you saw the amount of work we did last year. The thought of, okay, well, we're gonna be doing this every single year, but I cannot be living on such a small budget, right? And the thought of having my parents, which I truly trust, saying maybe this isn't for you, and this thought definitely crossed my mind. So you see, I think we were blinded by the appearance of, okay, well, this is what I want to do. This, and I thought about this before. Now, technically, don't worry, I'm not giving up. It's not my farewell. But I think there's a big difference between a want and a need. I think I thought I needed to make content versus I want to make content, right? What I need right now is to find a job. Now, ultimately speaking, if I could do a want and transform it into a job, I would do it for sure. But it's not the case right now, right? So we start thinking about getting a job, and it's kind of nuts because I started this conversation, I started this video by saying a lot of people wouldn't have this result that we're getting, and because they didn't have the result that we're getting, they would have gave up, right? That's what I said. But the reality, and again, I'm just putting ideas out there, right? I don't know shit. I don't know much more than my neighbors. I don't know more than anybody in the world, but I do believe that the refusal, because I did bring a lot of CVs, right? And the fact that I didn't get a lot of calls back, the refusal it's a form of rejection, a form of failure, right? So this form of failure was emphasized by the fact that, okay, well, the channel didn't go well, right? And then I was on Reddit for the YouTube to see, okay, well, how much of people usually have. I cannot talk English today. We're tired a little bit, so let me get some coffee. I went on a Reddit post, which was small YouTuber. Now the idea was to see the because at the same time, I'll be completely honest, and I don't want to be a dick. Some good coffee. So I don't want to be a dick, but if people ask me why aren't you giving up, my honest answer, but my automatic answer, the first thought that would come in my mind is like, well, everybody else did. I told you guys multiple times. I started making content in May 2021, right? I was with a bunch of new content creator, right? And out of it, I think me and Sir Winsalot, all three on TikTok, on Twitch, and on YouTube, I think we're the only one left. I truly think that. Now people came back, people left, people came back, but people that never stopped, it's only me and Sir. Now, it's 2 out of, I want to say 15, 16, right? And that is insane to me, right? So those people gave up, and of course, it's sad that your friends give up, but at the same time, like, okay, well, it's an oversaturated market. Less people making content means possibly more eyes. I'm going to tell you a secret, okay? I'm going to tell you a huge secret. It doesn't matter how many creators there are. It doesn't matter how many videos are created per day. There's still the same amount of viewers. When is the last time that you rewatched a video on YouTube? Me too. What are the odds? So so it doesn't matter how little videos are being created, because there's still gonna be watcher, right? So that's why I didn't give up. I'm like, okay, well, everybody else did, right? But then Sir, the difference between me and Sir is Sir still had a job. My biggest, not necessarily regrets, but my biggest mistake was to treat this as a plan A when it was supposed to be a plan B. You understand? So, and now I understand that it's kind of like, because we're flirting with the idea of, it's not necessarily quitting, but it's flirting with the idea of, okay, well, this is gonna be a hobby, right? The dream was to do the 1 year out of work making content, and as this becomes something that is viable, something that I can put food on the table. It didn't happen, which is okay. But at the same time, lately we've been doing some live, and I've been talking to you guys. And there's also the fact that, yes, I didn't give up, but there's also the fact that you realize how wrong you were. For example, right? I'm going to be doing TikTok live, and I'm going to be talking to people, and I'm going to have more fun than if I was on my own. And then you start thinking, holy shit, how many of those videos I should have done in TikTok live instead, right? And of course, your content would have been different. It's a case of, well, I didn't know, but now I know, I can improve. But am I truly improving? Because I don't know which is the direct direction. Is the direction that takes me forward, is the direction that takes me backward? I don't know which one is which, right? So were you on the right path? Were you on the wrong path? But you're still moving, right? Versus somebody that gave up and just left both paths, right? So this change, right? This change. And I was talking about a lot about relationships lately, right? Talking about a lot about relationships lately. And we're gonna do a video about that also, which is relationship and being single. How is it like, but the relationship is it's almost like, okay, well, you have a kid with your wife, right? And then you divorce. You're still co-parenting, right? It's different, but it's still raising a kid. It's still principally the same thing, right? So then you're like, okay, well, I gotta raise a kid somehow, right? And then things change, and then there's a new girlfriend on the way, right? And she's a stepmom to the kids, right? And she's not the real mom, but she's also helping raising that kid, right? And that's how I feel about the content right now. We had this kid 40 years ago, and a lot of things changed. It's still the same thing, but things are different, right? So you're trying to do the right thing, but at the same time, you're like, okay, well, things didn't work, so I have to change somehow, right? So even though there's this advice of not wanting to give up, well, there's just also this real, not necessarily lack of motivation, lack of a issue, but it's. I'm gonna make this less complicated because right now it doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, super less complicated. We started. It was a need. Started because I needed to do something. Then in the middle, which is last year, we were making content in the hope of this becoming something full-time, right? Now we're posting CV. I've already worked with the companies for the temporary agency. Temporary agency is good, but it's not, cannot do long-term, right? So we've been working with that, but now we're looking for a better job, a job that is more stable, like 40 hours a week, because we're men and we have responsibilities. But at the same time, it's I do not want to give up making content, but you're seeing this change, and you're saying, okay, well, I'm gonna have a job. How's it gonna change, right? But then the craziest thing is it's not gonna change because when I started making content, I also had a job. So we're going back to the roots, right? But then you're going back to the roots, but you got more experience, right? You know what you want. You have a better demographic. You have a better public, right? When I talk with you guys, yes, it's super fun to do the TikTok live, but I get some regulars, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, that is so cool, right? That is so freaking cool. So no, we're not giving up. I don't think we're ever gonna give up. I think it's more stubbornness than anything else, which is possibly something that's a bit worrying. But I am of the opinion, and again, you can call me a dumbass, right? You can call me a dumbass. We have to work a little bit. You can call me a dumbass. Which is gonna be okay. I can zoom out, no problem. You can call me a dumbass, but at the same time, it's a reality of okay. Well, the environment is changing, right? The environment is changing, and you have to adapt, right? And it's a really weird thing because we're adapting to a situation that is our own, right? So we're not in a position where, okay, well, I gotta adapt to something I don't understand. No, you understand what's going on because this is your reality, right? And this coming back to the basic, which is a job, right? And when we have time, it's phenomenal because you're like, well, I wasn't able to balance it out quite nicely, right? But there's also this crazy need. When I was working last time, I was obsessed with it, right? But now that we're just doing this, and there is this need to work. There's this feeling of needing to work. There's this feeling of of having a value, right? Being in a high value man, not because you have a job, not because you pull bitches, not because you have the latest Lamborghini, not because you have a watch that's worth this amount, but because you're partaking in doing something that's better than yourself, right? Now, ultimately speaking, the content that we're making is exactly that. It is something that we're doing that is bettering life, because some people are going to be listening to you and are going to be brightening their horizon. So when you watch this video, right, it doesn't matter if you are agreeing with what I'm saying, right? It doesn't matter what you think about what I'm saying. As long as you're listening, you'll have an opinion, right? This opinion will lead to something else. And this something else will lead you to a new way of talking, right? Planting a seed of thought. Think about when you went to school, right? When you went to school. Technically speaking, you had books for every single subject, right? You had a book for math, you had a book for science, you had a book for your linguistic, you have a book for geography, right? So technically speaking, the teacher wasn't necessarily needed, right? Because you had what you need to learn was in a book, right? And then you think about all of those kids that are homeschooled, right? But then you realize that the teacher in himself was the one that was able to vocalize this, was able to verbalize this, was able to bastardize this, to make it easier, to make it simpler to understand. And you understand that somehow, somewhere, in these lesson that they gave you, there's the hints of his opinion, his perception. For example, we have the Palestine and the Free Palestine and Gaza, right? And then if a teacher was talk about that, and the teacher was non-biased, you could tell in the lesson that he's telling you that he is non-biased. But him bringing the subject up, right, would be an opinion. And the beautiful thing about an opinion, the most beautiful thing about an opinion is not factual. It isn't factual. It's not a fact. So you can agree or you can disagree, right? But it will make you feel a type of way. And this is exactly what's going on with the content, with the work. With the work. I think the biggest question that I asked myself coming in this year of making a lot of content, right? I think the biggest question that I asked myself was, what if? What if it worked, right? What if it worked? But now we're finally in a position and this is the finality of why we're not giving up. We're in a position where it doesn't matter if it works or it doesn't work. It doesn't matter if this is viable or not viable. It doesn't matter if I end up becoming a content creator full-time or not. Would I like to? Yes, I would love to. Now, I'm not asking myself the question of what if. I'm not asking myself the question of when. I'm not asking the question of, okay, well, is it possible? Because I've had my dose of making content, and although I still love it, I don't have this constant need of making content. There's days where I was doing 12, 13 hours, and I still felt like I didn't do enough. I still felt like, you know what, you could have done better. For example, right now, we're doing a video here. See, that's the craziest thing. We're talking about a video about giving up, right? Or not giving up. Giving up or not giving up, right? We're downloading clips for YouTube and Twitch. We have a phone filming the sunrise and sunset. We have 3 playthrough of the tower, right? And this, I could have not done that a year ago. I could have not done that 3 years ago. We've been making content for 4 years. It's a beautiful thing. I'm talking about relationships. Imagine being a father, and you want to be a father, 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 right? And then you become a father, and it's not something that you want anymore. You don't want to become a father because you're already a father. It's part of your reality, right? You have this kid that's crying. I say, hey, I need you. And he calls you dad, right? And although you don't want to be a dad anymore because you're already a dad, it's still part of your life, right? It's still part of your everyday life, and you make the best of it. There's days where it's harder, there's days what you want. You can't give up, right? Now, with this, the number of things that I was able to accomplish, right? The reality is I was sad when I started making content, right? I was sad. I'm not sad anymore. I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm more mature, right? I'm more mature. But even then, when you just look at the content that we're making right now, right? Right now what we're doing is, we're doing some weight loss content, right? Now, the weight loss content, I think would have happened no matter what. I think there's a day where I would have been like, holy shit, I'm at risk of getting diabetes or shit like that, right? I think there's a point of time where I would have been like, okay, well, you need to lose some weight. But then, I was like, okay, well, let's do it now because I'm looking for new content, right? And it's going to be a fun thing to do, right? And we started doing it. If the weight loss works, it's going to be thanks to you guys, right? And then it's a pre-value of, okay, well, we put in the hard work, we got some results, and we build a community, right? But then at the same time, if it doesn't work, then at least you lost some weight, right? And then there's this question of, are you doing the thing that you're doing for the right reason, right? And I'm of the belief that it doesn't matter the reason behind it. A good action is a good action, and a bad action is a bad action, right? And it doesn't matter the reason behind it. Now, what matters is intention, right? Do I have good intention or bad intention, right? If my intention are, for example, we talk about money a lot today, but the reality is, we're okay. We're okay. We were okay when we were working. We're okay now, and we'll be okay when we're gonna be working, right? And although I didn't manage my budget correctly, we still managed to do something that was beautiful, right? And it was a journey. It was a journey, and it's still a journey. But at the same time, we're moving with arcs, right? We had this arc of getting to know myself, right? This arc of being able to film and being on the camera. This arc of load of work. We had this period, arc of depression, which was in October. And now we had this arc of I'm hyper aware of the situation and I'm okay with it, right? And it's not because when I thought about the video, I didn't think about doing that, right? I never thought about doing that. But at the same time, it's a beautiful thing because you're like you're maturing. Like the next video that we're gonna do is about people using you, content creators using you, right? And my perception of it changed, right? Right now, I don't mind as much, and I think it's just a shitty thing to do. I think it's an absolutely shitty thing to do. Am I more aware that it happens, and am I more able to act with it, right? I'm going to talk about this a little bit, but I'm going to make a video out of it. So, for example, before yesterday, we had a troll in the live, TikTok live. But we just had a wonderful talk. We just talked with people that are really cool. we had a really good workout. So even though this person was a troll, I didn't really mind, right? And then the question came to me, this question of, why don't you care? Is it because you're giving up, or because you're more mature? And the answer is, of course, I'm more mature. But this, we'll talk about it more in the video. So I'll let you go. But I thank you for watching. Love you guys. Take it easy. Don't blink. If you blink, welcome to our show. So doing well on this early morning, 8 April 2025. It is a beautiful day outside. We are uploading video here, filming here, right? Playing the tower here, and we are enjoying some wonderful coffee. Coffee, and coffee. Today's video was actually a special one. This is a video that I've already done in the past. This is a video that I possibly did a couple of times. You see me on the computer a little bit because we are uploading video. I hope you don't mind. You don't mind? Cool, me neither. So it's a video that we did before. But at the same time, it's a really cool thing because my opinion about that change. And the opinion changing is, it's almost as if you were doing a part 2, even though the two videos don't have anything in common, right? So the video is relationship between content creator, right? We did a video about that. The last time we did a video, it was a video where I was complaining about people trying to use you and you didn't know who was there for you and who wasn't there for you, right? And the mentality completely changed in a way of but I think the reason is also is almost or as important as the change, right? So before that, right, I'm going to tell you why we're making this video. So, for example, last week we had a person coming into our life twice, right? And we had this now I'm not going to name her, right? Because she's a lot younger and I don't think she realized what she's doing. I think she's realizing what she's doing. I think she knows what she's doing, but she doesn't know how bad it is. So I had this person last night, right? And this person came in last night. Sorry, another person last night. That's why we're doing this video today. And this person came in and she was like, she wanted to do battles. And I was like, I don't do battles. And then she gave me a pouty face, like, please. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but I don't do battles. There's a billion other people that do battle, right? And then she's attractive. So she started showing off, knowing that I had people in the chat, right? Now, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I knew she was showing off because, so there's this weird thing, really weird thing, which is really normal of having, and I'm going to sound misogynistic, and I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. It's not a place of hatred, but it's a place of, in a case where I'm listening to both a woman and a man, there's a man and a woman. So okay, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. There's two people that are. So lately we've been working on the computer a lot. We've been doing on recap a lot, right? And that takes a lot of time. So we've been watching a lot of YouTube, right? And I've been watching 90 Day Fiancé recaps, right? And there's two content creators that I really enjoy, which is My Thoughts and Your Wet Socks. And now these two are complete polar opposites, right? My Thoughts is a bit softer. My Thoughts is a bit more funny, right? And Your Wet Socks is a bit more of a reaction guy. He's gonna push you. He's gonna push you to have a reaction, but also to think about what is going on. And I love that. But at the same time, I am hyper aware or whatever you want to call it. I don't care, right? But I am aware that there's time where he's gonna take for the boys, and My Thoughts you take for the girls, right? In both cases, with My Thoughts, it feels like a lot of time, and it sucks. It sucks so badly because I really liked her. I really like My Thoughts, but it feels like she is always for the woman, right? She's always for the woman because, and I cannot help but think that maybe she met a guy and he hurt her feelings and that's why she's like that. But then you got My Wet Socks, right? Your Wet Socks. But at the same time, he's is a bit too much for the guys. I'll call people like she's a cheater, she came here for a green card, and I don't necessarily agree with what he's saying, right? So I have these two completely different people with completely different opinion, and I know that somehow the truth lies in the middle, right? So even then, I'm gonna be listening to your Wet Sox because I'm like, okay, well, this dude, we're the same age, we have the same cultural reference. He likes anime, right? So I do like your Wet Sox, right? Now, with what I was saying about last week, I think she's aware that a lot of the people that aren't matchats are men. Now, weirdly speaking, we have a lot more women. Lately, we've been having a lot more women, which is great. I fucking love that. But I've been having a lot of men, and it's talk about hockey, about sports, about cars. It's quote unquote your typical, your cliche boys talk, right? And she starts showing off, right? And she knows she's attractive, and she wasn't showing off for me. And then the idea came to me: you're showing off to the people in my chat. That way, they're simping for you. And I could have been mad at her, but I knew what she was doing, and of course she's younger. But at the same time, like, that was a shitty move, you know. Now, if people that come to my life, I don't own them. I do not own them. You want to check somebody else's life, go ahead. I don't care. Okay? As long as you're happy, don't care, right? At the same time, I think it's the action behind it. I think it's the action behind it because you're like, dude, I am nice to you, you know? And this particular person, I have this almost negative bias towards because we didn't know each other a lot. And then she was in need because she was having some problem, emotional problem, right? And we started calling each other every day, right? And she was super kind. She used things like "I love you" were said, of course, because I'm a sensitive guy, right? And then poof, disappear, right? And then she unfollowed me. The reason as to why I don't know, the reason as to why I don't care, you unfollow me, right? And that's kind of you know. So at the same time, it's bad. But then she started talking to me again. It's like, oh, you want to battle? And I'm like, you're coming to me because you need something, right? And I could be mad, but then it's a dog eat dog world. It's the same viewer at the same time watching one live or the other, right? If they're watching my life, they're not watching hers, and if they're watching her life, they're not watching mine. I think it's a question of also of confidence. Am I interesting? Why am I not having people? And I think the first thing that you're thinking, right? And it's also funny because we're deep diving a lot into the content that we're watching, right? So we're watching a lot of content, we're watching a lot of YouTube. And another show that we're watching is Gordon Ramsay, Kitchen Nightmare. It's all on YouTube, right? We're watching that, right? And a lot of people, they said, why is my restaurant not working? Now, some of these are really bad. They have bad practice, they have bad staff, bad management, the kitchen is dirty, the fridge is dirty, but in some cases, there's just better out there. Like, I watched an episode yesterday, and the food was delicious. However, the food was taking, I think it was 75 minutes, and there was a store next to it that was doing the same thing in 10 to 15 minutes. Now, admittedly, the same thing wasn't as good, but people don't care about this little bit of quality for 5-6 times the time, right? And in this case, the problem wasn't the food. It was that there was a lot of competition, right? So I think it's a question of confidence. I think the first thing that you're thinking when you don't have anybody in your live or in your chat or nobody watching your video is my content shitty? Am I doing something wrong, right? This is a true story. We're really opening ourselves up. We're really an open book, right? There was an instance, and we aren't talking about like 2 weeks ago. Oh, well, yeah, actually 2 weeks ago. We're talking about 2 weeks ago, not talking about a month ago. And we were starting to do the workout, right? And the workout, I had a lot of people, we were doing super well. So like, you know what? I didn't eat yet. Let's go eat. And then let's do a TikTok live because I don't have to talk about Thursday where I don't have a lot of creative juice. Today we have a little bit too much. So we made it live, and nobody showed up. And I swear to God, for the 20 minutes that we're doing it, I was fucking sweating. I was nervous. What is going on? Have I done something wrong, right? And I was thinking about how is that possible, right? But then there's a huge difference. When we did the workout stream, it was 2 p.m. And when we ate, it was 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., there's a lot more people doing live than at 2 p.m., right? So the market got oversaturated. It's a question of habits also, right? I think there's a level where, as a content creator, you come in, and there's a level as to which where people don't really care what you're doing because they care about you, right? And that's a beautiful thing, but it's always the same, for example, cycle, right? So you have this favorite content creator, and you're always watching them because you love them, right? You're always watching them because you love it. Right now, this morning we were watching Trader Trash Tammy mukbang, and she's amazing. I love her, but the only reason I know about her is because of Nicolo Avocado. That's the only reason, right? That's the only reason. And although I love the content, we're watching her because we watch Nicolo Avocado so often that we watch all of his videos, you know? So it's not because she's not good, it's because I have a preference. I have a preference, right? So it is insane. So she came in and she did that. And instead of getting mad, I was like, okay, well, that was a shitty thing, right? Now, ultimately speaking, am I going to be vengeful? Am I going to have a vendetta and going to go to war? No. But I'm going to be mindful of that. I'm going to be reminding myself of that, right? And I feel like we matured as how we handle those things, right? But at the same time, this maturity comes at a cost. And this cost is actually a big one. It's more reserved. It's you're keeping shit in a bit better. You know, I've always had a problem with emotion. I'm a transparent guy. When I'm not doing good, you're gonna know. When I'm doing great, you're gonna know, right? But when I'm not doing good, I'm an asshole, right? Not an asshole in the sense of I'll attack people, I'll swear, but in the sense of I don't care about what you're thinking, I'm dealing with my shit. And that's not cool. So yesterday, because we talked about yesterday, it's that I had a guy come into live, right? And this person is, again, I understand why he's doing the thing that he's doing, but that's not cool. So, and it seems like I'm pinpointing some things, but you gotta understand why we're talking about that. We understand why I'm pointing out those people in particular, right? So this guy, I was making a lot of live last year, and he begged me to do battles. I was like, no, I don't do battles. I do not do battles. I don't care about money. And then he was coming every day, and I was like, oh fuck, okay, let's go. Back at the time, I was at one viewer, and this guy was giving a lot. He was giving a lot of gifts, right? So then, what ended up happening was, I had one person partake. This guy went and followed the person that was gifting to me and DM'd them. Now, technically speaking, I don't mind, because this person came to me and said, yo, this guy's DMing me, please be careful. He's not who you think he is. I understood why he did it. That was still a shitty thing to do, right? You understand why he did it? He did it because, again, this is his livelihood, of course. But then I was like, okay, well, we're done. I'm not gonna make a video with you. And that was last year. So we blocked him, and I was like, fuck you, dude, right? But then I felt bad. I was like, you know what? I don't know the situation. Maybe he's broke. Maybe he has some debt. Maybe he's desperate, right? I understood where he was coming from. So we unblocked him, right? And then yesterday he came in. And he was a bit down, right? He was a bit down. And I remember him because, I was like, dude, that guy. I unblocked him. And I wasn't mad at him anymore. I forgave him. But there's still this thought in my head of, you're a shitty person, you know? And he came in and he was depressed. And he was feeling some type of way. And I felt bad for him. And like, you know what? Okay, I got you, right? And now what I start doing lately is, when I see people staying for 5 or 10 or plus minutes of my lives, I send them a heart, which is a thank you, like a little thank you to say, hey, thank you for being part of the live. Thank you for joining today. You were awesome. I fucking appreciate that, right? And his answer was 3 emojis. Now, you're like, okay, well, Ink, what's the problem there? They were 3 of his own emojis. So I told him, question mark. And the guy said, these are my emoji if you're interested. And I was like, the only reason you came to my life was to ask something in return. And I was like, this is super shitty, right? But again, I think there's a lot of content creators like that. There's a lot of content creators that don't have, it's a question of, you cannot blame them. There's a question of morals. We all have different morals, different values, right? Something that is okay for me to do will not be okay for you to do. And something that you do will not be okay with me, right? So how do we deal with the situation? Why am I talking about these 2 cases in particular? Because in the last month, I'm talking about March, those are the 2 only instances where I had to deal with somebody doing that to me, or treating me wrong, or doing something that's a bit sus, And it's shitty, but in a month, you only had 2 people, right? That's amazing. And then, the craziest thing is, we came in, and these guys I'm going to shout out. We came in with Sir Winselot, who was part of the content. He was a guest. We came in, we did some dual stream. It was nice because this guy's a guy that I like. He's actually super nice. But what I like the most about Sir Winselot is there's this kind of fucked up sense of, oh, you comment on my videos, I'll comment on yours. You follow me, I'll follow back. You like my videos, I'll like yours back. So it's a constant give and give and give and give and give and give and give. And it's not a system where you grow. It's a system where you cheat the system. But it's a system where you grow. Your growth of your positive engagement isn't real. It's fabricated, right? And I don't believe in that because again, it creates lazy content creator. I don't know what I have to put. I'm gonna take a picture of this wall, right? It's a beautiful wall. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful wall. And I'm gonna get 25 likes, right? Now this is a content creator, and they're gonna say, oh, I like your video, you like mine, okay? It's a fucking wall. It's a fucking wall. Doesn't matter how nice it is, it's a fucking wall. By having these likes, you're not learning that maybe, you know what, maybe I should be filming this, I'm filming this. Maybe, you know what, maybe I should be filming this instead, right? Maybe, just maybe, right? And that's how you grow. With Sir Winselot is one of the only, if not the only content creator that I never felt that way. Now, the importance of Sir Winselot in this whole story, because I known Kyle for 4 years, and he never done anything to me. There's not a single thing that he did to me that was like, ugh, kind of shitty, right? And I appreciate that because at the same time, like, it's not a coupled instance of you being nice. It's constantly being nice. And I don't get the feeling that there's pressure here. So instead of being, oh, we have to help each other, is we're coexisting. I love my neighbors. They're super nice. They're super nice. Do my life depend on them? No. Do their life depend on me? Hopefully not. But at the same time, it's the same thing. Yesterday, I went with Skylar, which is another content creator, Canadian. I'm gonna try to. I wish I remembered. I don't remember the complete name. Fuck. Skylar, I'm sorry, Skylar. I love you. I love you. Yesterday I came in her live, and I didn't see her for a while. So I was like, holy shit, it's good to see you. And she got me. She put me up, and she was like, hey, how are you? And we talk. You know, and I was in her live for a couple minutes, and people were gifting me. And she was like, yo, there wasn't a talk of, well, people gifted you thanks to me. You should be saying thank you. Now, understandably, there's a 30% that goes to her because that's a TikTok rule. But it was just like, this was such a cool relationship because my content doesn't rely on you. Your content doesn't rely on me. It's just cohabitation, right? And I've come to expect that. I've come to appreciate that. How many content creators that you guys have met? And there's some shitty content creator, right? But having this relationship, and those are people, and you see, it's we're seeing this a lot with people doing collabs, right? But I think there has been always it's hard to doing collabs because there's always been, it's a relationship, right? There's never a relationship where it's truly 50-50. You can be close to 50-50, you can be 48-52, but it's never 50-50. So there's always somebody in the two content creator, right? that is a bigger content creator, right? And ultimately speaking, it's normal. Ultimately speaking, you're glad to help out smaller content creator. But ultimately speaking, there's only so much you can give, right? So much you can give. Like something that's kind of bad happened like 3 weeks ago. That was really bad. But again, it's not a big deal, but it was a shitty thing to do. Somebody came in and said, hey, my mother's not doing well. And we're talking, right? And I'm like, are you at the hospital with her? And he was like, I'm at the hospital with her. So I said, show her the phone. I said, hey, hi, how are you? Please feel better. I just said hi, right? And then somebody said, can you say hi to somebody else? And I felt bad because I said hi to the mom because she was sick. So I said hi to the other person. And there's a third person that came in and said, can you say hi to my dog? Can you say roof roof to my dog? And I was like, you fucking asshole. Because of that, those two people that had good intention, those two people that just wanted something kind done to them, are looking like asshole because they took advantage of the kindness, right? But are you blaming the guy who's an asshole? Are you blaming the two people for the one person that's an asshole? No. They just coexist, right? They just cohabit. So it's all a question of how much you're willing to give. And I feel like this is the relationship between content creator. This is the relationship. How much are you willing to give? This idea of I support you. I'm gonna be transparent. I've already told this story. So when I started streaming, right? Now, there's numbers. I listened to Charlie Moist Critical. He was talking about how more than 80% of content creators on Twitch are streaming to less than 5. Now, please remember that we've been doing this for 4 years. Okay, well, 4 years and holy shit. Wait a second. Okay, we're the 9th April 2025. We're reaching a 4 years next month, and exactly 30 days, 31 days. I don't know. How crazy is that? Exactly 4 years. That's crazy. So I was on Twitch. Somebody came in, right? And I was playing Kingdom Hearts. And it was my first person. And I want to tell you the truth. It was my first person in a month or more than a month. So he came in and said, hey, you're good, but you don't have viewers. Why? And I was like, I don't know. It's like I have this Instagram group, right? And I got this Instagram group. And I want you to join it because I'm going to help each other out. So I'm like, okay, that's a great idea. Let's be part of a team, right? And then I did that for 4 months, 5 months. I was reaching crazy numbers. I had 26 viewers. I had a lot of viewers. A lot of freaking viewers, right? But there was always this in my chat, there was always this case of, it's really bad, right? It's really bad because even I was talking about the two people before, right? They were self-promoting in my chat. They were saying, hey, watch this. I'll follow you, follow me back. And people didn't really care about the stream. It was just something they had to do. It was just something for chilling. It was just something for them for networking, right? And that sucked. It didn't suck because it was not the right thing to do. It sucked because you're out there not for... it's a question of when you're making content, when you're doing anything at all, are you more looking for results or are you more looking for having fun? In my case, it was having fun, right? So, we had some really good numbers and I was so desperate. I allowed people. It's a fucking shame. I allowed people to be shitty people, you know? The worst thing that happened to me, the worst thing I ever did as a content creator, I had this person in my chat. On Twitch, that was years ago though. It was years ago, it's still a shitty thing to do, but it was years ago. I had a viewer, I'm not gonna name him, but he texted one of my female viewer, and he was inappropriate with her. And then she told me, hey, look what he did to me. And I felt bad for the guy. Because I'm like, he's single. He's telling me that he's depressed. I understand that he's depressed. I don't want to tell people that he's depressed. But he came to me and said, hey, I'm depressed. What do I do? I feel lonely. So I had this information. And I'm like, okay, well, he thought that you were single. He probably find you attractive. He's just, he's just clumsy. He doesn't know how to express himself well. It comes out as creepy. It comes off as creepy, but I came out as creepy multiple times. I've been a weird guy. I've been a really weird guy. So I kind of understood him, right? So I knew that this happened. Suddenly this person left the stream. She left, and I was like, okay, well, fuck. I understand why she left, but still. And then 3 months later, I had this other person came to me. And she was like, hey, the same guy. He's sending me nudes. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? And she showed me the text. She didn't show me the nudes, thank God. But he sent her explicit text. And it was the same guy. And then I was like, holy fuck. I knew that was going to happen. Because it happened once. And I could have stopped it. And my problem wasn't that he was sexual with those two people. Shit happened, My problem is how many people was he sexual to and didn't reach out to me and say, hey, look at this guy, what he's doing. And I was so desperate for views that I was like, okay, no problem, right? That's the worst thing to do. Why are we talking about that? Because as a content creator, you should have a circle of content creators that are uplifting you, right? As weird as it is, the first kind of chemistry that I saw was OTQ with Miskif, Valkyrie, Emiru. The second one that I saw was the Bote's sister, Andrea and Alex. There was Diana, there was the Gotham Chess, there was Marius Carlson, Ikaru, and they just started having good times, They were uplifting each other, and I was like, okay, well, this is something. And then just know that I was watching Nick for years, okay, because of Avocado. And he always did the same fucking collabs. And I was like, why are you always doing the same collab? But then you realize, you understand why. Because he trusts those people. Those people are good people, It's a crazy thing to think about, but it is. It is as weird as it is the normalcy. So if you're a new content creator, be careful to who you surround yourself with. If you're an old one, congrats, I guess. And that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love ya. Peace. Shit. Okay. Okay. 32%. Hop up. Tower. The tower. And we're back for part 2. Sorry about this. We're not going to be filming for a while more. I'm almost done here. Okay, let's go. Yeah, the battery is low, so we're going to have to go. Okay, so what's next? Do you ever feel like giving up? Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting to the wind, starting to start again? You just got a night in the ocean. Just hold the night. Do 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 choo choo. Make him go whoa whoa. At a shooting star the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your shoulders burst. Makes you go As the shooting star the sky. Boom boom boom. Even brighter than the moon, moon, moon. Choo 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 choo. Whoa, that's a good move. That was a great move. Let's do another one. Okay. Can still do one for sure. Still filming? Okay. Still filming, okay. Where's the other one? For fuck's sakes. I am so sorry. You made a mistake. You made a little blunder. Okay, that's good. Good. So bubbles, views. Okay. Don't blink, it's your blink. Welcome to our show. Considering Wolves are having a wonderful day on this 8th April 2025. It is a beautiful day outside. We've got some snow, got some coffee, I got some videos that we're uploading, and most of all, we have a beautiful sunrise. Okay, I fucked up. Okay, not a big deal. So today's video is the struggle that I had as a content creator. The struggle that I had because I don't know. Lately, I've been feeling very good. Lately, I've been feeling like we're moving forward. Lately, I've been feeling like we're accomplishing something. We're maturing. We're being more mature, and I want to talk about the struggle that I had as a content creator because it's the, how can I call that? How can I say that? Is the almost turning a page forward, right? Some of those struggles we still have, but at the same time is acknowledging those struggles that we had. And I think okay. So I've been focusing a lot, right, on how much we improved lately. And we've been focusing a lot about how much the content has improved lately, which are two great things, right? Two amazing things. But I don't think we focus enough on how did I get there? What happened for me to get there, right? I think that's also super important. So the struggle is a very good way of saying, okay, well, I was there, now I'm here. What happened here? So the first show that I had, it's not like I'm victimizing myself, but there's a ton of people that are younger than me, that are content creator, non-content creator, that are going to be feeling the same stuff. And the best thing about it is if we're talking about content, where we can also apply this to real life, right? Like, for example, one of my struggle has always been with the engagement, right? And then it's about the engagement. Why? Because we're competing with people, and maybe the content isn't great, but the engagement. So we're talking about views, comments, and likes, right? Now I'm grateful for what I had, but it's always been a struggle because I'm seeing some people do more than us in 1 year, and I'm like, why? But then you realize that those struggles are normal because some other people will over promote. So, hey, go watch my video. Hey, just drop this, right? Some other people are gifted. They have connection. They have, they're very good looking. For example, we had a reality show on TV, right? Occupation Double, which is a French show. And this show, Occupation Double, the beauty of it is we're getting some people that are single, and then you have to, okay? There you go. Okay, we're good. Sorry, we're trying to upload some videos, so there you go. They take some beautiful people, right? So again, that are single, and the goal here, that's how dirty the screen is. I have to watch that. So they take beautiful people, and they're single, and then the public get to choose. Okay, well, who's cool? And then they have candidates. So for example, there's 20 candidates, and then we get to choose 12 of them, right? Now, what was cool is you could choose people for 3 factors. Are they going to be troublemaker? Are they going to be fun to watch? Are they going to be entertaining? It doesn't matter why you choose them. You chose them for a reason, right? Now, at the very end, we realized that most of these were friends or acquaintance of alumni. So people from previous season was like, hey, we're gonna be pushing this candidate. This is my homie. I want him to be in the show. Now, a lot of those people were joining said show to get a social media career, right? So it wasn't really fair. And then it's not a big deal because it's a show, right? But some of those people that were refused were genuine. Were genuinely looking for love. They were genuine people that were fan of the show. Now, it's a question of, it's a weird thing. It's a really, really weird thing. It's a question of, fuck, I don't see shit. Can't see shit. Who is more willing? Who is more deserving? Is the fan of the show more deserving, or the person that got elected more deserving? Ultimately speaking, you would say they're both deserving. Ultimately speaking, you would choose the person that was chosen by the public, right? Because it's a result of democracy. And democracy is the voice of the people. It's like when we're voting, we don't give a fuck about who wins. We know that's going to be the same bullshit over for the next 4 years. However, we voted. And because we voted, even though we lost, well, we still had our voice. We still had a choice in the matter, right? So what I'm trying to do with that, with the views, you're asking yourself, well, why is there less views? Right? Is it because my content sucks? Is it because I'm not giving the same opportunity than others? And it's a very small thing, right? It is a very small thing. When you write my name on a website like YouTube, the craziest thing is that you won't find me. You have to actually put the underscore between Ink and Vendetta, right? So right away, this is something that I should have thought of before, that I didn't know. Would I change right now? I don't think I can. I don't think you can change your end-all, right? And that is okay, that's perfectly fine. So this is gonna make 2 more videos. But at the same time, you're like, okay, well, maybe this is one of the reasons as to why. And you find yourself in a position of finding excuses, right? And then you're in the same position as people who gave up. Oh, I don't want to make content, or hey, I don't know what to do. But they're not putting effort into the creation of things. So they get depressed, or they lack confidence because of the lack of results, which is something that happened in real life also. How is this relatable to real life? Well, lately, I've been trying to find a job, right? And they're trying to find a job is, it's hard because you're giving out CVs, and then you get calls, you don't get calls. So when you don't get calls, it's like a relationship. She just rejected you, right? So that's a hard thing. But then again, you get people who promote themselves, who constantly self-promote. Hey, I did this, I did that, I did this. And you get people that are lying on their resume, right? And then you realize just how much of a dog world. And you have a choice. Are you a dog that eats other dog, or you're a dog that survives? And I don't know which one I am, right? So that's a struggle. Another struggle is time management, right? I think a lot of people will do the same mistake that I do, which is always planning for more and more and more and more and more, without thinking about the time zone, or the time, without having a time budget, I guess. So, for example, we're trying to lose weight right now, right? And in 2 weeks, we did some amazing results. The truth is, I'm possibly going to be doing the same thing for 5, 6, 7 months, which is not a lot. But then you think about it, in 6, 7. So, for example, right, with the weight loss, we are 240 pounds. We were 271 pounds. So that's 2 weeks, right, of losing 20 pounds, which is great. But it's an hour per day, which is 14 hours, right? And then we'll do 7 months. We'll do 210 hours, right? That's almost 10 days without sleeping. So when you think about that, it's not a lot, and it's for a good occasion. But at the same time, you got this, you got that, you got this, you got that, and then you're like, holy shit. For example, we were watching Shameless. I don't know why I was convinced that the show was gonna leave Netflix. So I watch, and we were playing game in the background, and now I'm doing the recap. It's been 3 weeks, and I'm at season 7 out of 11, right? So it's a long time. And then, like, okay, I want to watch that show. You don't realize how much time it is. So the show in itself 11 season, right? 12 episodes per season, right? That's 100. That's 130. 34. 134, right? They're each an hour, so you do 1.5. So it's about I want to say 100 to 110 hours of watch time, plus the time it takes to recap a show, right? That's another huge expense, and you want to do it all. So, for example, one of the biggest things that I've had struggle with, I was finding things, but I constantly had to look up the window. Yesterday, as you can see, there's snow, right? We had this beautiful scene, and I swear to God, it's true. There was a snow. It was a black bird on the snow, and it was a snowstorm. There was a lot of snowing. I ran to get the shot. By the time I was out, the bird was gone. So how much time did I spend hoping to catch this bird come back to it? You know? So time management is always super hard. Always super hard. Because again, and for example, we're doing this video, right? And we had a plan for the struggle, but I don't know how long this video is going to take. It can take 20 minutes, it can take 30 minutes, I don't know. Right? We're doing 10 videos like that, that's 6 hours. That's crazy, right? It is insane. Another struggle that I had was, how intense are you? How much are you willing? How is this in the real life? I think we have such busy life. I had a friend at work, at PCT, and he was always tired. Or even fuck that guy. Take Shao, one of my best friend. Shao struggles right now because he goes to school and he goes to work. So he's doing 10 hours a day, right? Which is okay, you got 16 hours. But then there's transport, right? And that's a problem. So he ends up being supercharged. So when he has a weekend, he cannot do shit because he's so tired, right? So time management, which is 10 hours per day, is manageable. The transport is say 11 hours a day, manageable. But he's so tired that the weekend that he had off, he has to sleep, right? And that's a problem because he can't manage time. He can't plan for something because he doesn't know how much time he's gonna have to sleep, right? Another one, how much you're willing to put in, how obsessed you become. So when we started with content, it was a cool thing to do. Then it became a really cool thing to do. It was more interesting than the work. So I started thinking about making content at work. By the time we ended, we were obsessed with making content. Obsessed with making content, right? Last year, I refused to see my father, my mom. I would cancel plan with them. I wanted to make content, right? Which again, they understood it's normal, but kind of a shitty thing to do. Kind of like a really shitty thing to do. You become obsessed. I lost sleep over it. And then what happened is we did a burnout. And that burnout was my fault. It wasn't a neighbor's fault. Nobody pushed me to work harder. I did, right? How did it relate in real life? You have this new girlfriend, right? And you love her and she's wonderful. Okay? So how much do we have? We have 10, okay, perfect. So you have this new girlfriend, right? And you guys spend every single day together. Because you love her, that's normal, right? But then your bros are like, hey dude, when am I seeing you? And like, well, I wanna stay with my girlfriend. And I think it's normal to want to stay with your girlfriend. I think it's a question of priorities. I think time management, what we just said is priorities, right? Obsess or priorities. You're trying to make time for everybody else. So for example, your day or your effort or your energy are a big cake, right? And then there's 10 people at your birthday party. So normally, you'd separate the cake in 10, right? 10 equal pieces for every single one of your loved one, right? But then you didn't do it. Some people have a bigger piece of cake. Some people have a smaller piece of cake. And you don't want to cut it. So what are you going to blame? You. Now, some people will be okay with having less cake. They'll be like, there was a lot of people, I understand, don't worry, bro. Some people will be mad at you, right? So that is something, because you don't want to hurt people. Something that I had a lot of struggle in was to believe in the dream. It was hard to tell my parents, it was hard to tell my friend, like, hey, this is going to be my job later on. I'm going to be a content creator. Because there's such a hard market to get in. It's such a oversaturated market, right? And people, not that they don't believe you, but it's like, dude, it's going to be tough. And like, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. My father, who told me, hey, you should get a job. I was like, fuck you, I want to do this. But he wasn't trying to be mean, he was trying to be, not to get my hopes up, right? So yeah, so that was also, I believe in that dream so hard, so much I believe in that dream. And I still do, but now I'm more aware of how much pressure I put on others. I have this dream that I believe in, and if you don't believe in my dream, that's okay. You don't have to. I shouldn't have to obligate you to believe in this dream. You don't believe in it, you know what? That sucks. That really sucks, but that's okay. In real life, somebody will tell you, hey, I got this new job and it's fantastic, but it's far. And you want to tell them, hey, I got this new girlfriend, and you know that girl, she's not a good person. She's a pot. And you want to tell the friend, hey, you shouldn't do that, right? But then you don't want to break their dream. You don't want to break their hopes. So how do you approach the situation? Then you realize that, okay, well, they don't agree with you, and that's fine. You have to respect their opinion because they're entitled to it. Worst case scenario, you'll have an understanding and compromise, and then that'll be fine. Finally, the last one that I had was, I think it's back to obsession, but it's also back to reality, right? Back to reality. One of the biggest struggles that I had was, what's next? The what's next is huge. The what's next is the perfect way to end the video, but it's still crazy because you don't think about what's next. When you're doing something, when you're doing a job, when you're doing your shift, think about what's next. I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna have this meal, I'm gonna watch this show, right? That's a short term. If you were working, I don't know, if you're working 25 years, what's next? Your retirement, right? What's your plan for retirement? And that's too long of a term. What if it was in the middle, right? What if you have a kid? And they're your kids. For their whole life, they'll be your kid. You'll always be the father, you'll always be the mom. Right? And then at 18 years old, they leave. They have this new boyfriend, they have this new girlfriend. They're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to be in an apartment. You're like, holy shit. My kid just left. What's next? I think that's really hard. I think that's really hard as a content creator because like, okay, well, this didn't work. I have to do something else. What are we doing next? And I think that's a really good question. I think it's a really good question because what's next means it's ending, right? So those are some of the struggle that I had. There's possibly more, but I'm seeing the batteries and I have to go. So love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. Oh, shit. Good. Let's review. Heart rate. Sorry, the phone overheated. Golly. Okay, last video. Don't blink. It's your blink. Welcome to the Welcome to the Show. If you're doing well, having a wonderful day on this. Can I get a drum roll, please? 9th April 2025. Yes, there's a beautiful sun behind me and a beautiful land of snow. Who would have thought in April we would get snow? Today's video is actually a special one. We're talking about love, the big L. We're talking about relationship. We're talking about friendship. We're talking about this feeling of social, right? You guys know me. We've been making content for 3 years, 11 months today. 3 years and 11 months. So next month is 4 years of making content, which I'm super grateful for, super happy for. Coolest thing that we did lately is it's so why are we making this video? First of all, lately I've been feeling the need to have talk with friends, to get more friends, to go out more, right? Lately I've been feeling a lot more to be social. I've been feeling a lot more to be, you know what, get out of my comfort zone, right? I've been feeling the needs to be romantic, the needs for a girlfriend, right? And it's a subject that we approached lately, you know, a little bit here and there. But today we're going to make a video especially for that. The sole purpose of this video is that. So, long story short, what ended up happening is that, how not to start a video, right? How not to start a video. Long story short, what ended up happening is, when I started making content, right? I'm always recluse, right? Even as a kid, I was recluse. People would come to my house and say, hey, can Stefan play soccer? And I would say, no, I'm playing video games. Why? I think it's super simple as to why. I think I was taking medication for the ADHD, right? And this medication for the ADHD, I think, drove me to not be myself. And as a kid, you don't really understand a lot. But you understand that you're not being yourself. And your parents give you the medications. You're like, no, they wouldn't do things to me. So you start thinking that you're awkward around people and you prefer being alone, right? And then the relationship between your parents gets worse and worse and worse. And then the divorce, right? And then they were supposed to be together for life, right? But then they ended up hurting each other. It's like, okay, well, I'm good on my own. And then you live at your father's house and your father's very strict. So the longer you are not in his way, the better it is, right? So you become quite an hermit. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing that, right? But you realize that you don't really need friends. Now, technically speaking, the best thing about it is I was kind of raised being alone. So my father, there was this year where him and my mom divorced, and my father was working a lot. My father was worried because my father is always worried about money. He's very stressed about money. My mom was stressed about everything. My father just money. And what he would do is he understood that my mom leaving equate to a salary less, right? So what he did was he was like, okay, well, I need to work more. So at a very, very young age, I was told, okay, well, you're alone now. You have to be alone. Okay, sorry. That's it. It's 15? 15, 14, perfect. This is it. This is it, guys. We're at 76. Good. Good. Cool. 76. So my father, when he was at work, and nanny was money. Money we didn't have. So even at a young age, my father was like, hey, you're gonna be alone. Now, being alone was the best. Like, I could watch TV, I could eat snack, something I wouldn't be able to do normally, right? So I actually prefer being alone. But this translated, I went to my mom's house, and my father-in-law was kind of loud, and my mom, she likes to go out. She really likes to go out. So every single weekend, we would go to places meeting complete stranger. I was like, I don't know these people. I'm sure they're nice, but I don't know them. I think I don't need to know them, you know? So my entire childhood was spent alone. Then these translated in the later years. Now, of course, in high school, we're a bit more social, right? But in high school, we were a bit of a loser. As a teen, you start sweating, right? So you start sweating. And your parents, not to hurt your feelings, they don't tell you stink. So you go to school and you stink. And people say, oh, this guy stink. But you don't believe them because you think your parents would tell you, right? So you're kind of being rejected because of that. And yes, you make some friends, but at the same time, they're not the best of friends because they're... they're not the best of friends because they're willing to take you. So you're willing to take anybody. It's like a girl that never felt the love of a man, or a man that never felt the love of a girl. So they'll take the first they come and they'll think it's love, right? Because they don't know what it is, love. So we go in and we're like, okay, well, this is how it's gonna go, and this is my friendship, but because they're not real friend, I prefer being alone, right? Now we live at my father's house. We move from places to place, back from my mom's house, my father's house, but again, we're always alone. And then move to the apartment, and the apartment was possibly the genesis of the end all be all. So the apartment, we didn't have parents next to us. We didn't have parents living next to us. So it was a case of I can do whatever the fuck I want. The best thing I ever did, and I told you this story before, but gaming, radio, eating whatever I want. But the best thing I would do is I would sleep for 2 or 3 hours, go back to gaming, sleep for 2 or 3 hours, go back to gaming, right? And there was nobody to stop me. So for the very first couple of years of being in an apartment, it was the best. But then with the apartment came a new reality. I had bills to pay, and those bills needed a job, right? Those places that needed a job, I was always either not working enough because I didn't have any social skill because I never learned them, and I wasn't the best employee because, well, I can't blame ADHD, but I was allowed. So being alone, I was able to be myself, right? And for me to be myself was, it doesn't matter how flawed I am, people should accept me. So we were going to job and people were like, dude, this guy is fucked, right? And I was like, no, I'm not fucked, I'm normal. Because somebody told me that I wasn't normal, right? So all of those workplace, all those friendships that we made, those relationship, were always current about the job. So for example, when I work at IG, I had IGA friend. When I work at AEW, I had AEW friends, right? We never kept those friends. And then, for the very first time, we had a job that I had, which was 8 years. Now, I had to make an extra effort because those people were going to be with me every single day. So like, okay, well, I have to make sure that we treat these people good, right? But ultimately speaking, it felt forced. Because I don't really like some of those people, but I have to work with them, so I'm going to make an effort. And when I'm out, fuck them, right? And then we lost that job, so I was like, okay, well, and we still kept in touch with some of those people, but most of them no, you know? And then lately, and I haven't felt the need, for example, we lost that job in March last year, and the whole year last year was making content, and I gotta say, I'm sorry to say, but I was so obsessed, I would cancel meeting with my father, my mom, I was so obsessed, I wouldn't talk to people. People would text me and I would leave them on read, which was an asshole. I wouldn't answer a call, right? Which is a big deal. And it's a shame because I was so pissed at people for something as normal as, hey, can we DM? Because then no, if you want to talk to me, I'm live. Go talk to me when I'm live. Now, technically speaking, what I was, my thought process was, we're live 7 hours a day, 6 on Twitch and 1 on TikTok. So you should be able to talk to me, right? Oops. Thank God we checked. But I was forcing people to be talking to me when I want, not when they want or when they need. That wasn't a good thing to do. So then you had my depression, right? And the depression, I was like, well, fuck. This depression was also caused by burnout. So we took a step back from making content, right? And then I realized who the real friend were and who the fake friend were, right? But at the very end, I kept people around, you know? And we were talking to people and we took a really healthy approach to the depression, which was to take a break. And then right now we're starting, right? And the conversation that we have, and there's this truth of, I don't need to be making that much content, right? I need to be making a community, I need to make new friends, I need to get out of being chronically online, I need to talk to people, right? And there's this new need that we never had before of socializing, right? Socializing. of making new friends, of talking to people. Why? Because we get to talk to people every single day. And it's doing something that I want, something that I love. So it's something very new for me, very, very new. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I'm dealing with it, to be quite honest. But it's a great feeling. And lately I've been feeling the need to socialize, right? We had this whole arc last year where we would go out just to film the nature. And now I like going out. And that wasn't the case before. Before, I wouldn't touch grass to save the world. Now I want to touch grass just because I can. Right? Also the relationship feeling. I've had a girlfriend in January, right? And it didn't work. And I was like, and the difference, which is something that really, really happened, it was really, really weird, was I wasn't looking in January. I wasn't looking, it just happened, right? Now, without saying I'm looking, I'm more open to it. Because you know what? I'm like, okay, well, this wouldn't be bad. But I think that the thing that's happening here is, we're 22 years old. I think there's a, I was talking about this before. I don't know if this is a biological clock. I don't know if that's the issue. I don't know. What I do know is that there is definitely a need to say, hey, if I want to have kids, I should be starting to think about it, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. I'm getting older. Maybe there's also a fear of ending up alone. You know? Before we didn't care because we were gaming. And I'm realizing there's more to life than gaming, right? So it's very different. It's very special. So lately we've been feeling this need for socializing. It's a good need, you know? Because, like I said before today, it doesn't really matter why you're doing something. You're doing it, it does matter. Good intention, bad intention also matters, but the reason as to why you did something is not important. I did this because of that. No, it doesn't matter. You did this, right? And I don't know. I don't know why is the reason for that. It's a great thing. Socializing will never not be okay. Will never not be something positive, right? This need that I have, this new need that I didn't have before. You have a new need. You have a new problem that you need a solution for. It's kind of crazy because it shouldn't be okay, but it's a need that's going to be beneficial for us, and that's important. That's worth it. So yeah, it's a great feeling to want to be motivated to talk to people. You know, should have happened years ago, but hey, better late than never. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Okay, you're at how much? You're at 10%. Good. So let's go. We're gonna go take a little siesta, and that's pretty much it. Love ya. Okay, that's good. Okay, that is good.